fucking hoping we don't crash. Foot on the gas, blood in my eyes, murder on my mind. Now we gotta hit the dark web, start looking at who the next to die. Gotta find the victim, place the bid and win them. Bring them back to the dungeon where we torture and beat them. There's something wrong with me, I love the sounds of screaming. I got these demons always making me leave people bleeding. Releasing the madness, now you're just another chain though. No missing person reported, it's sad cause nobody knows you're gone. No one will miss ya, no posters or pictures, just body parts and trash bags getting turned up by fishers. No fingers or dentals from cuts so malicious. Too sick in the brain with these murderous visions.
We taking lives and we never need a reason. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, it's killing season. On a mission that you don't have to believe in. We won't stop till nobody left breathing. We taking lives and we never need a reason. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, it's killing season. On a mission that you don't have to believe in. We won't stop till nobody left breathing. Taking lives and we never need a reason. Winter, spring, summer.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Horror Corridor. We are here with Troubled Minds. What's up, dudes?
What's going on, man? Thank you for having us on the show. Appreciate it.
Hell yeah, man. I'm very, very excited to have you guys on the show. You guys are legends. Anyone that's been in the horrorcore scene, I think, for more than 5 or so years has listened to you guys.
Thank
Because you guys have been around a long time. 99? Was that when you started
Yep,
out?
1999 we started.
So you guys can pretty much say at this point,
It's been a long journey.
you're seasoned horrorcore artists for sure.
Still learning every day, though.
Yeah. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves real quickly, starting off with Wicked K since he's all the way on the left?
Right.
What up? I'm Wicked K, one half of Troubled Minds, the illustrious duo that's being interviewed right now.
And I am Toxic, and we are the owners of Murder House Records.
Fuck yeah, guys. Murder House Records, legendary record company in the underground. For
Thank you,
anyone,
man. Thank you.
for some reason, if you don't know who they are, go on their website.
You need to find out.
Yeah, go on their website because they got a lot of music on there that you can check out, and it is a fucking rabbit hole between you guys, Troubled Minds with demonic solo shit. You got the Murder Mob. You got the mixtapes, Lyrical Bloodbath, Since 99, Drag 'em Down to the Basement. It's just so much shit on there. It's so good. So definitely go check out Troubled Minds' website, the Murder House website. So you guys kind of want to, let's start from the beginning. How about that? First off,
That's a good place to start usually.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. Actually, I'm really curious about Wicked K. Let's go into the more quiet one, Wicked K. I mean, you're not the more quiet one on the records because you got that billowing singing voice, but really, you're really in the background. Toxic does a lot of the business and the talking. So let's go into you a little bit. What got you started with music, and what led you to the wicked shit in horrorcore?
Well, growing up, my dad's mom, my grandma, she always played guitar, was real musical, always in bands and stuff like that. And I remember being young as 5 years old, her playing guitar, and I would just be writing little lyrics and singing little songs with her, just stuff we'd make up together. And that's what really piqued my curiosity. But then at like 8 years old, I got into ICP, and that really led me down my horrorcore path.
Yeah.
So I actually learned to play guitar when I was like 10, and I was like stuck in my classic rock and my horrorcore phase. But ultimately, I ended up getting into horrorcore and running down that road with Toxic and Demonic here.
Hell yeah. So Toxic, was it kind of the same for you? Was it ICP that turned?
I mean, it was similar. Like, I found out about like ICP and stuff at a young age, but I had found out about like House of Crazies and Esham a little bit before that.
Mm-hmm.
I had an older brother that used to have like, his like early ICP tapes and stuff like that, and I used to always go in his room and steal his tapes, and like,
Oh yeah.
that's how I got hooked on that shit at a young age.
That's
and then
always
just
the best, man.
venturing on into finding so many other artists out there and shit.
Hell yeah. That's always the best is like you hear stories of people going into their older siblings' rooms and like
Right.
looking through all
And
their
like
stuff.
you said, it's like that rabbit hole. You can just sit there and just, find one artist, and then you hear another artist after that, and you start digging more into their stuff.
Then you go to the record store, and it's all
Yep.
For
Dude,
sure.
we spent a lot of time and money at record stores when we were young.
Record exchange.
Yep. When that place was open.
So
finding all like early like Bedlam shit and all that.
So was it like, so where are you guys from originally, and like is that where you're still at right now?
Pretty much like downriver Detroit. Like I was born and raised in like Southwest Detroit, moved to like Lincoln Park at, just before high school and stuff like that. And that's when I met all them, and we pretty much stayed downriver and like around that general area pretty much ever since.
Detroit and Lincoln Park for me too.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But
it's like
still downriver, just not in Lincoln Park.
I've kind of noticed that like all the guests so far have either been from the Northwest because they've been like Concrete and Unforgiven and the Slaughter Camp, or they've been the KYP Murder House, Michigan. So it's crazy. Crazy.
There's
a lot of connections
there's a lot
there.
that came out of Michigan. A lot of good artists.
Yeah.
We had a nice little run.
So what got you guys into the horror aspect lyrically and all this like horrorcore stuff other than ICP? Were you guys like into horror movies, comics, anything like dark and shit that before
a little bit of both, like comics and like mostly like, like horror movies and stuff like that, and just kind of like just I don't know. It's different than a lot of other stuff that's out there. It's a certain genre that you got to be a fan of to be, into that type of shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
definitely the horror movies and stuff had a big influence.
See, I got lucky growing up. My dad bought something that was called a black box, which was basically a cable box that got all the channels for free.
Hell yeah, I had one too.
And so from a very young age, I was staying up late and watching channels I probably shouldn't have. But, I watched a lot of Tales from the Crypt and, just a lot of horror movies that were on HBO and Cinemax and shit back then. And that really, really wrapped me up and intrigued me a lot.
Yeah, it's interesting. I hear you guys, how graphic and detail you get with some of your like murder scenarios. I'm like,
just
you
telling
guys,
stories.
Yeah, you're telling stories, but I'm like wondering, like, did you guys get this from movies, true crime, or is it like a figment of your own like fantasy?
See, what I like to do is like, I'll kind of draw from a real life scenario or something I heard, but
and build off.
I'll start thinking of the scenario really in depth, And if you notice in a lot of my lyrics and a lot of my verses, I talk a lot about leading up to what I'm doing versus what I actually did.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking of all the graphic details.
You got to paint that picture.
Yeah, getting in that mind frame of going to do that thing,
Right.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I do is I try to picture the scenario of things I've heard and like, oh man, how did he do it? When, kind of like that.
Yeah, kind of like a man about to snap pretty much. And or like your manifesto before you're about to go on a spree or something like that.
Right, exactly.
Pretty much.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's cool. That's kind of always kind of how I thought of you guys too. Is like definitely like a killer writing their manifesto, like because it's like definitely a lot of like you definitely talk about the aftermath of shit too, because you can get pretty graphic when it comes to like the pathology and forensics of the body. But like I think like a lot of the times, it's like this really like it's the hunt for sure. I feel like it's kind of how
you got to be able to
the thrill of the hunt.
You got to be able to paint that picture in somebody's head of exactly what's in front of them while listening to that track.
For sure. And like even like starting off with like Evil Intentions, I think you guys kind of had a knack for horror movie theme sounding music. What would be some of your influences?
That whole album we were still learning. Like we recorded that album so many times, just so many different versions of that album.
Yeah, over from the course of 1999 to
2004
when we actually released it. I think we completely re-recorded the album. I mean, same beats and everything.
There was a few that were switched.
We swapped. No, we got rid of some. Oh, we did switch a couple beats. But we got rid of a few songs, added new songs. But that whole album got re-recorded because of new equipment we were getting. And
anytime we got a piece and like saved up our money and got a new piece of equipment, it was like, all right, now we got to re-record the whole album.
But yeah,
Like,
we literally re-recorded that probably 10 times, the entire album.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, it gave you enough time to perfect it, and now it's an underground classic. No lie, like you see that.
And there's still things now when I listen back to it that I want to go back and redo. But
yeah,
I wish I could go back and redo all of them.
Right.
Have you ever thought about doing that, like Comatose did with the Ugly? He did the Uglier.
Nah,
like
I don't know. Like we've redone
talked
tracks
about
and
it.
stuff like that, but
Yeah, we've done reimaginings of tracks, but like I wouldn't want to go back and try and recreate one exactly how it was. I like to, leave things how they were, remember it how they were.
So talk
listen back to it. And,
you did all the production. Did you do all the production on that one? On the
most of it was done by me on either back then it was Fruity Loops 3.1 or MTV Music Generator on PlayStation.
That's crazy, man, because like I remember all the hip hop kids in my high school. I wasn't one of them. As you can probably tell by my posters and shit. But like they were all talking about Fruity Loops and shit like that, and like I had no idea what the fuck they were talking about. I was around 04.
Yeah, it's a great program if you know what you're doing. But like we started off on like one of the earliest versions, and it was
it's
like
probably,
if I went back, I don't know, it's just terrible compared to what it is nowadays.
Probably evolved. I want to try it out again.
We made it work for what it was.
I haven't tried Fruity Loops in like 10 years.
We got one of the newer ones.
So what inspired like the style of beats on there? Because like it kind of reminds me of like John Carpenter, a little bit of like Goblin, the Italian composers that do like a lot of like old Dawn of the Dead and stuff. Like, so what kind of stuff?
I mean, a lot of it just came through like just scrolling through sounds. It was a new program we had at the time, and like we would get all kinds of like sound fonts and everything else, and just scrolling through stuff, we'd hear something and just build around it.
I took choir classes going throughout elementary school, throughout high school and everything.
Me too.
And so I was real big on the choir effects, the big ambiances to it.
Yeah.
So that was something every time we found a sound similar to that, or anytime, like if you listen back to a lot of them, there's some of them real faintly, you'll hear me in the background just trying to do like choir effects, trying to make it sound like people harmonizing, I guess.
And that was on a 8-track or a 4-track recorder when you guys did the final mix for that?
Trying to think.
Well, we ended up, by the time we ended up finishing
that
was on Cakewalk, I think.
We ended up recording the last version on Cakewalk.
I think we started Evil Intentions on a karaoke machine.
Yeah.
So then went 2 mics at a time, pretty much? Was it like 2 mics at a time, or like you can only get like one or two?
When we did Faces of Evil, that was our first actual album that like there's barely any copies out to this day. But that album we recorded, we had 2 mics sitting on my bathroom floor. We had somebody else in the next room hitting record and stuff. Well, we rapped. Him and Demonic passed back the mic, and I had my own mic and shit. Like I don't know, it was bootleg as hell, but we made it work.
That's awesome. That's funny because
absolutely terrible.
That's why it's not really around these days.
I thought it was crazy when I heard that because Bone Thugs and Harmony, their first non-released album is Faces of Death. I was like, damn, they both like got the Faces of something.
That's one of my favorite Bone albums.
Oh yeah. It's got Past the Pussy or whatever.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Son of an Assassin was my shit on there.
Yeah, because they were still like kind of. I think they were going to go the evil. They were going to do some evil shit back then, and then they kind of got more mainstream.
I think they went by Bone Enterprise.
Yeah. It was a little bit more like on the 3 6 Mafia tip, but like
and they were young as hell too.
Yeah, we could get all into Bone Thugs and Harmony, but after that, you guys put out. I think it was it Blood Brothers? No, Nightmares.
Blood Brothers was the second one. That was
okay.
Right after Demonic started, he went doing solo stuff, and me and him kept the group going. We're like, we need to drop an album. So we dropped that EP in, I think it was January 2006.
Hell yeah. And you want to talk a little bit about that? Like, how was that one different, would you say, than Evil Intentions?
Well, first off, we didn't have Demonic anymore.
Yeah, it was only the 2 of us, so we had to like work off each other's ideas instead of, when you got 3 brains together, it's a little easier than when you just got 2.
And that kind of is like really, you know, obviously it's where we started to form what Troubled Minds is today.
Kind of build more of our own sound and stuff like that.
Me and him have talked about it a lot. If you go listen to Evil Intentions and then you listen to Blood Brothers, it kind of sounds like the same album just rolling off each other.
Yeah, it's pretty seamless.
Yeah,
right.
And we were kind of, you know, still in the same phase, I guess, and we kind of started experimenting more once we got to Nightmares, the third album.
And that's
where you kind of tell the sound difference in us.
Yeah, Nightmares.
That featured this guy, right? Stir Crazy was on that.
Brothers, I feel like we started to like get our sound that we, you know, felt comfortable with. And then once Nightmares hit, I thought we were pretty, like, I thought that album was pretty spot on with everything.
Nightmares is great, man. That one, are you still using Fruity Loops on that album? Is it like still the same setup? Because it starts to sound a little bit more solid.
It was a newer version of Fruity Loops, but pretty much most of our career we've used Fruity Loops for like beats that I've made, unless I did them on a machine or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or unless I whipped him up on the guitar.
Yeah, and he plays guitar and stuff like that too. He's even brought over like his the virtual or digital drum set and laid down drum tracks and stuff.
Oh,
and
that's
beats.
cool. That's
like,
cool.
I don't know. We just like experimenting with shit. Like,
yeah, well, we'll get into Blood, Sweat, and Fears in a second, but there's a lot of like cool experimentation on that like probably makes that one my favorite album of your guys's. But
nice.
But I do wanted to mention like some of the features that you guys had on Nightmares and Blood Brothers. You had Mr. Stitches from Mental Ward and Big K from Mental Ward, Downriver Rat, and Wayne Dub. Wayne Dub, was he the first dude in Murder House?
Wayne Dub was the first actual artist besides Troubled Minds. Well, at the time, Demonic was in Troubled Minds, but Wayne Dub was actually the first artist we actually put on the label with us. That was awesome. A homie from, you know, like high school and stuff like that. We've known him for a long ass time.
That's cool. And he was in a group, right?
Anyways, and it was like, hey man, like,
yeah, Wayne Dub was actually in a group. Well, he was in a few groups before you know, we got into it with him, but he was in a group called 8 Gauge, and I actually joined 8 Gauge for a short couple months. I ended up getting grounded. That's how old we were. I got grounded, so they were like, well, you can't be in the group anymore.
Bummer. R.I.P. 8 Gauge.
Yeah, they went on for a while without me, but yeah, now they're not anymore. All right.
Yeah, Wayne Dub's still doing a lot of solo shit though. That's actually really dope. He's doing a lot of his recording and stuff over here too.
And you guys had Stir Crazy. I was pointing out my bottle earlier. Stir Crazy on that. Great production by him, but you know it was so long ago. Do you guys think that it's time to reunite and do something together?
Oh no, I talk to Jesse all the time when I see him at events and stuff like that. Like, he's still one of my favorite producers in the underground.
Yeah, he's got fucking incredible beats, man. Like I don't like a lot of our older stuff, and I tell people that all the time. But
Suicide High and Killer's Anthem, like those beats were spot on.
We still pull out Killer's Anthem a lot,
right?
And that's like one of my favorite tracks. I fucking love Jesse's beats, man.
Hell yeah!
But yeah, I still talk to him all the time.
That's awesome. I'd love to hear something like that. Also, like, fast forward ahead again, but your shit with Fritz the Cat, holy shit! Like, nothing beats a toxic beat behind Troubled Minds, but like, I think Fritz the Cat's a good contender on there.
And what's crazy is he did the mixing on those tracks too, and just made them sound crazy as hell. Like
what I think is cool is going through my teens, you know, like Twisted got on Psychopathic, and you know we were huge Twisted fans. And it was like, man, those Fritz fucking beats are so dope. It'd be so dope.
Like Green Book's still one of my favorite.
Oh, dude, that was when I first realized that Twisted was doing something a lot different than ICP with the music production because of just how experimental Green Book was.
Right.
That's
why it's one of my favorite albums. Like, production on that is spot on.
That's what I was bringing it up for, because you know it was so cool to finally get to, you know, do something with Fritz like I've been wanting to since I was a fucking teenager.
Right.
But it also forced us to experiment and change it up a bit, because as much as I wanted to rap on a Fritz beat, I wasn't ready for it when it came along. I was like, oh, holy shit, this is a whole different monster to tackle. So it kind of changed how I came at the beat, how I rapped on it and everything.
Yeah, his production makes you get like creative when you're writing. You can't just write some simple stuff to it.
Right.
And like I feel like it has this like solidified Michigan, Detroit sound that just reminds me of Blaze, reminds me of ABK, reminds me of just like
right.
That
Yeah,
East Side
if you
movement.
hear a Fritz beat, come on, it's a Fritz beat.
Yeah, so we'll get back into the discography. So yeah, you got Evil Intentions, we got Nightmares, Blood Brothers,
Thoughts of a Lunatic.
Thoughts of a Lunatic was the next one, and on Spotify that one's like the one that was like front and center. Is that what would you say that's your biggest album or?
Stream wise, I would say that's probably one of our biggest ones. That and Blood Brothers are up there with like the highest amount of streams.
Yeah,
I Need Therapy is a close third though.
I honestly think we really knocked it out of the park with Thoughts of a Lunatic, because that's like Nightmares was kind of like a big ball of experimentation. There's a lot about that I think is rough, that I would want to change.
Right.
But I think once we got to Thoughts of a Lunatic like that, I think we were in our zone. I think we just hit the ground and we're running with it.
That album came together pretty quick too.
Yeah, that one was one that we put together, real quick.
And you had a Satanic production on that? It says
What's that?
It says Satanic as producer credits on your Discogs. Is that true? Was he on any of that?
Yeah, he had a couple beats early on.
Him and Wayne Dub, it looks like we're like the guest producers on there, and then you did the rest of it.
Yeah, Wayne Dub did the beat for Struggle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I love that track. I forgot about that track.
And then
I just heard it the other day.
And then Icarus, was he ever part of Murder House Records? Because I've seen him on some of your compilations and stuff.
Yeah, he released a few albums on Murder House Records.
Oh, cool. All right, that's good to know. I kind of wasn't sure like what label he was riding with, but I saw him on more Murder House stuff than anything else, so I was just assuming.
So the thing with Icarus, man, is he was still with Murder House, but he was also teaming up with other labels, man, just getting the word out there. He was
Native Funk and Native World, ABK's label he was working with for a while.
Verbal Abuse.
Yep. And then he started his own little side label, Verbal Abuse.
Hell yeah.
Still got my Verbal Abuse.
Right.
Oh yeah, I heard of Verbal Abuse. That was like kind of short-lived, right?
It was cool though, because like he eventually like turned that into promotion. Like he would do these Verbal Abuse
mixed in like compilation albums, and he'd have like artists from like us and like LSD and
I saw
a bunch of other.
I saw one.
And
of
one
those.
thing about Icarus, man, he was a fucking backpack hustler.
Right? He was always out promoting, always doing something to make some more noise.
He'd get on his fucking bike, not like a motorcycle, like a bicycle. He'd hit like 10 towns in a day, just fucking handing shit out, getting the word out there.
He'd be hanging Hell on Earth posters on the church next door to his house and stuff like that.
About that.
See, I always hear these stories about you guys hustling so hard back in the day, and I'm just like, man, if it was normal rap, I get it, but you're hustling fucking horrorcore, and music is not for everybody. Like,
dude, we handed out so many free CDs, just doing up.
Hey, back when we were hustling,
burning like 100 CDRs with like a mixtape on it, just handing them out for free.
Back when we were hustling like that, though, it did feel like horrorcore was for everybody. Right. Everybody was digging it.
Well, it was a different time, man. Like you think about when your first few records dropped, we were getting the Saw movies in theaters, we were getting Hostel, we were getting a lot of violent Hills Have Eyes, and we were getting all the violent French and Japanese movies were coming over here, as well as like bands like Slipknot, Mudvayne, stuff that was pretty aggressive was starting to hit radios. So yeah, it was a more violent time, and like I heard you guys say in an interview, you were packing venues and stuff, and like I don't think today it's very easy to pack a whole venue full of people that want to listen to 5 hours of people on stage rapping about murder.
No, it was definitely easier to pack a place back in the day.
It's fucked up because we pack a place back in the day and fill it with 5-6 straight hours of horrorcore, and they'd want fucking more when we were done.
Right.
We didn't provide enough horrorcore for them. It was crazy.
So did you guys ever go out
nowadays, it's like people don't really go to shows as much and stuff like that. They got families and stuff, and like, we still love going out there and doing it though. Like,
that's awesome. Did you guys ever go to the Nodis and Isham shows, or were you guys a little too young for that?
I would have loved to have gone to the Nada shows.
I went
We
to
went
like
to
some of the
Nisha
ones like
shows.
later on, stuff like that. Like none of his like early shows.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I was too young for the early.
I was probably like 14 when I seen Isham live first,
I was
but I was listening to him years before that.
I was watching one of his DVDs, and you see videos of those shows, and it's crazy how many fucking people are there. And they're not just horrorcore fans; they're like the jocks from the school, the fucking cheerleaders from school. Like everyone is out.
It's funny because going to high school, I got made fun of for being a juggalo the entire time, but half them kids that was ripping on me for being a juggalo were fucking down with Isham.
Right.
Hey man, how much has that changed?
Yeah, yeah, really.
For real, it's like doesn't matter. You can like one thing and then you're a clown. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so fast forward to 2011. The last one's 2009. I just bought this one actually because I didn't know it existed, and the reason is because it's not on your streaming sites.
The Massacre.
If anyone can get a chance to listen to The Massacre, it is fucking awesome.
Right. No, we've sold a lot of that album.
I want to go back real quick. You asked what you thought like our biggest, what you thought we thought our biggest album was. And I would say probably The Massacre.
Okay.
But like stream wise, like we had it uploaded at one point in time, and then when I went to go switch everything over to DistroKid years later, after I had already pulled it down, so I could upload it to DistroKid, the Hobson collab on there got flagged, so it was giving me trouble uploading it and stuff like that. So I'm gonna end up re-uploading it, but I just can't list Hobson's name on the Open the Door collab.
That's so
because
whack.
it's all big now and stuff, so it flags his name as soon as people put it up.
Yeah,
but
I don't know, man. But he just did a brutal track that's on par with how brutal that track is with King Gordy and Bizarre.
Right.
So I don't see what the problem is.
Are you talking about that Leatherface track?
Yeah,
That shit was hard as hell.
That's a
I've
fucking
always been a fan of
good
Hobson's music. Like we brought him out here for the I Am Raw tour in Detroit, and he packed that place too.
yeah, and The Massacre, man, such a good album. People really,
Yeah.
definitely check out your guys' website and listen to or purchase it because, yeah, it's got the Hobson.
It will be up on Spotify soon. I am going to be uploading it up to the
but just
DistroKid here soon.
Just buy it anyway. Give them your money. That way you get the
give
WAV
us your
file
money.
and get to hear the full quality. But yeah, also Insane Poetry and Defect on there. Appearances by Big K and PG-13, which are also your kind of, were they still your label mates at the time in 2011?
No, because actually 2008, everybody was off the label.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
2008, it was just Trouble Minds after that for a while.
Okay. So
Yeah,
where
that's
did
when, KYP started and stuff like that, and they were building up that label, and Demonic and River, everybody went over there.
So Wolfpack Nation had Bottom of the World Productions that they were working on.
That's when the Murder Mob stuff. It was Murder House, KYP, and BO
Oh, cool. Yeah, so why don't we quickly just get into Murder Mob real quick?
Yep.
You want to talk about what that is?
Well, Murder Mob started off like basically shortly after we started Murder House Records in '99. Murder Mob was just what we
like
called
our crew of friends.
Yeah,
like,
it's just what we called our homies, our group of friends.
That was the Murder Mob.
All our people we were tight with. And one, I want to say, 3 years into it or something like that. We did a track. Let's do a Murder Mob track. We got all of our homies that don't even rap. I mean, I'm talking like these were just our best friends growing up. Not like rap label mates and stuff like that. Yeah. And we got them trying to rap on a track. I think there was like probably 5 of them that rapped on the track or something like that. And we never released it. It wasn't. Or did we release it?
No, I don't think we did.
There's one on your Bandcamp that's
we might have put it on MySpace or something.
I don't think. We never released it, but that's how it started. And then once Murder House grew with all the acts that we had on it,
it just kind of became like
said, let's
our
do a
crew.
fucking Murder Mob album. Fuck it, man.
That was the first one we did. Was the Hell on Earth CD. think it was what 2007.
I think so. Yeah.
Where can you find that CD? I really want that.
That one was just handed out like at the show
Yeah,
and stuff
that
like
was-
that. Anybody
that was
that came in the door at the show got a copy.
I think there's only 100 copies pressed and
Oh.
handed out at the door. Maybe 200.
That was we rented out the shelter.
Oh, that was the
Yep.
shelter. Ooh, that was a badass.
Anybody
shelter.
listening can make me a copy of that and send that my way. I would be very
I
appreciative.
might have it on the studio
I have a
computer. I'll
copy.
take a look,
I can when I go home. I have the CD somewhere. I can.
rip it or something like
Yeah.
that.
Oh, nice. Thank you. I need to not be so OCD, but if I know I don't have something, I get kind of like...
Right. I feel you. No,
Yeah.
this guy, luckily, he saves everything. Like, I've lost so much shit over the years, or sold my copy of something, or gave it away to somebody just so somebody else could have it. And he saves everything.
I have like spindles of 100 stacks of CDs with old sessions for like
Just-
Cakewalk and
Oh,
Burnt
cool.
Fruity Loops
random
and
shit
shit.
on it.
Yeah, it's like
When we put together the Sense 99 album, we kind of went through his like whole like graveyard of shit, just kind of picking out songs like, oh, that one's got a decent mix, or oh shit, we got the session for this one. I can load it up into Pro Tools and put a mix on it. Like, I don't know, it's kind of crazy, like digging back through all that old shit.
yeah.
Will we
It was
ever
nice,
hear any
though.
of it,
was
you think?
really nostalgic.
Do you think we'll hear any of it ever?
Some of it was on the Sense 99 album we put out.
Yeah, there was a lot.
But yeah, there's
wasn't
a lot
worth
that's
mentioning.
terrible, like that didn't get put out for a reason.
Yeah. I mean, I can imagine, but yeah, sometimes
Or it'd
collectors
be
are
something
interested.
we had recorded and like forgot to hit save and the session closed or something and lost the track, so it'll never get recorded again.
Yeah,
That's
happens.
happened many times over the years.
Hey, but you know, the stuff that you probably learned during those sessions is priceless. So
Right.
Not really, because I still got to nag at him to
Right,
save
hey,
every
hit
10
save,
seconds.
hit
Hey, save.
yeah, I mean, nothing can fix when you fucking done too many dabs and forget to hit the
It
record
happens.
button.
Happens to the best of us.
Cheers to that.
Yeah. Yeah, so now we're up around 2015. Well, I mean, really quick, I just wanted to say the Murder Mob album, does it have a name or is it just called Murder Mob? I forgot.
So there's two actually. There's the 2007
Hell on Earth one.
That was just a 2007 Hell on Earth sampler. We called it the Murder Mob sampler. Or
Yeah.
whatever. And then the other one was called
2014 Ready to Ride.
Ready to Ride.
That one's fucking sick.
That one we released for we did the tribute show for Jeff, and we all got together and recorded that album. We did a tribute show for Stitches, and I think it was a Sick and Shameless show.
Yep.
Uh,
And we put out that Murder Mob album, and
He's even got a
last
few- he's got a few
night we
verses on it,
performed the
right?
whole album.
doesn't Stitches have a verse or two on there?
Yeah, it was a couple verses we were able to resurrect from like old hard drives and stuff like that, like going through like shit from old computers.
Yeah, that's amazing. And Never Dead Click was on there. You got Shane and Chris.
Yep.
Lissa.
Yeah, at that time Chris was over here recording too.
Yeah. Lissa's on there a few times. Wolfpack Nation, and once again, who's in Wolfpack Nation?
PG-13,
Uh-huh.
Jay Outlaw, and at one point it was Doughboy too.
Okay. I mean, was anyone else in Murder Mob?
It was pretty much just
Demonic.
KYP, Murder House, BO Dub.
So yeah, like basically,
But Spot Workers were a part of BO Dub, like Bottom of the World Productions, and they were on it too.
yeah. And then
Like
we
you had
had-
Fonzo, Be Wild.
and then everybody that was on Murder House, like Downriver Rat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's
Wayne Dub,
yeah, Wayne
like,
Dub.
yeah.
My mind's going blank now, but yeah, I mean, like
It's all
there
good.
was a lot of us.
I'm sorry if I'm grilling you guys too hard. I'm like making you go through
no,
the whole
you're good,
thing.
man.
Bring it. It's been a while. I like to rehash the brain, make sure
Right.
it still works.
Cool, man. Cool. Yeah, this is cool too because it solidifies everything. So when I'm listening to it, it's like I can look at it in a different light too.
Right, it kind of takes me back to like when we were like working on them albums and shit. You got to think about it a little bit.
Right.
Yep. Shortly after that, 2015, you're back with Demonic for Evil Intentions 2, which
Or that was 2014.
Oh, okay.
That one dropped, I believe.
Right on, right on. I'm going off Discogs right now, so
Yeah, it might have uploaded in 2015, but we dropped that. I think it was 2014 because it was like a 10-year anniversary from when we first dropped. Like actually released the first Evil Intentions in 2004.
Oh yeah, it was. I forgot about
So we
that.
did that for like a 10-year project because we were back working with Demonic and stuff. He was doing all his recording for his solo albums over here and stuff. And it was like, hey man, it's about to be 10 years, let's drop an album. We went through a couple beats at first to start it that he got from Marshland Monster, some old ones that he had on a CD, and that's how I think Going Insane was the first track we did for the album.
did Marshland produce anything on there, or was it just for the like scratch
Yeah,
tracks?
he produced a couple of them on there. I know the Going Insane is pretty much my favorite track that's on there. He produced that one.
Yeah,
And it was just an old beat that he made back in the day that he gave Demonic, and he just had it on a CD. He's like, "Oh, we can go through these." Like, as soon as I heard that one, I had a hook already in my head. I was like, "All right, let's do something."
That's one of the ones where like I really love where me and Toxic and Demonic was on this one too, but like where we all come together.
Yeah.
We think of a way to make them hooks just fucking so live, and Going Insane is one of them hooks. There's like a lot going on, and it's so.
And no matter like what we do to the
like,
hook, we look at him like, "Hey man, we need like some grimy singing."
What do you
over
want
it.
to
Like,
sing, man?
right, yeah.
Like, all right.
hell
Because
yeah.
no matter what you drop, he's like, "I could sing over that."
And yeah, it's got a really good, like every song on that album I feel like has a really good Wicked K singing verse on it.
Right.
And then I mean, you really started singing from the beginning, but I think like once I think this album kind of came along, like Evil Intentions 2, that's when you're kind of like, I'm just gonna sing every single hook now, and
Right.
I think it's really
weird
working
because,
out.
Like Demonic is we've known each other for over 20 years. Us and
Shit,
Demonic.
probably like 24, 25.
It's been like 24, 25 years to me, Toxic and Demonic have all known each other. We were teenagers, I say child. I don't want to say childhood friends and think we're
Right.
like 8 years old, but I mean, we're like childhood friends. You're still a child when you're a teenager.
Right.
We were like 14 years old, and we have really silly and really goofy senses of humor. We act like fucking children when we're around each other, and so getting back in the studio and doing a whole album with them, like we were over here hanging out.
We were able to have
partying.
fun in the studio
Yeah,
and
we
shit.
were having fun, and I was like, you know what, fuck this, let's rock. We were just having a good time, and just
Yeah, it was
that's the
definitely
way-
fun recording that album.
That's the way I felt. Was like, yeah, and fucking just sang.
It's awesome. And I think that definitely solidified the connection between you guys and him for the God Hates Us label signing a few years later.
Right.
Because you guys are back on track with him. That's great. And
Like how that went actually too, though. We ended up bringing Demonic back, but then we before we brought Demonic back, Big Sin, Philip Graves, and his boy Intellect, they were in a group TWO,
yeah.
and they had been doing a lot of shows together in the underground for a couple of years, and we actually knew them since like 2000.
Shit, Phil was like 12.
Yeah, Phil was young, but like they started doing shows with us in like what 2005, 2000.
Yeah, it was when we started doing shows at the Modern Exchange in around 2005.
Yeah, so about 2005, 2006. So we've always been around him. He's always been fucking phenomenal. Intellect, didn't really rap too much back then, but he was on production.
He was singing on production.
Yeah,
like,
he would sing, and singing was always, good, but his production was always on fire.
They fit together real good as a group.
They came together as
I wish I would have done more TWO
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, they came together as a group, and we watched them for like a year or two at shows and shit.
Yeah.
I said, dude, we should sign them. Let's talk to them about signing. And so we talked to them, and they were fucking on board immediately. And then we got Demonic back on, and somewhere in the middle of everybody working together and everything, Demonic and Big Sin kind of just came together and clicked for God Hates Us. That's how that all kind of came together.
I love it when you get a
hell type shit track with all three of them, and then
I love
like just kind of wasn't really doing music as much anymore.
I love the same thing about God Hates Us as I do about you guys is you have two MCs that don't sound anything like each other.
Right.
And that's what I think. I mean, another good example would be the Michigan Misfits, where they sound very similar to each other.
Right.
And it kind of, they
They
play
put
off.
on a dope ass show.
Yeah.
Though.
So that works too. But I think with you guys, like, especially when you get into like the next album, Blood, Sweat, and Fears, like the diversity on that album, the change ups, the difference of each song, but also how cohesive it is track to track, keeps it from wanting to fall asleep. You know, it's very entertaining. So I think it's great that you signed them.
I can comment on one thing real quick.
Yeah.
I want to go back about the Michigan Misfits and say that one benefit about MCs sounding similar, watching them live, man, them guys can pick up each other's ad libs and, pick up off each other, and it doesn't skip a fucking beat. Sounds phenomenal. You're like, you never even hear the original guy drop off. And that's what I like about that. I do like how me and him are different, but live,
because I can't sing for shit. So
it's a little clunky when I need him to sing when we're live.
Right.
You know?
You're just like evil intentions.
Yeah, I can't sing for shit. So
yeah, man, I get it. Like Kenny or like you or Wicked K, I did choir too, but I can't sing. So if I try, like I'm somewhere in between you guys where I'll attempt it and then fail. So it's pretty awkward.
Don't let the albums fool you. I can't really sing either. That's after like 100 attempts that you hear on the album.
So what do you do to get your voice ready for like a session like that?
Really just drink water, because I only drink water anyways, but I'll make sure I drink a lot of extra water, gargle a little bit. I need to get into doing vocal exercises again, but I don't do them until I'm ready to actually record something. I'll just kind of go over the hoo-hoo, just the scales and stuff like that real quick.
Nice.
Yeah, I need to do it more though, because as I'm getting older, my throat's getting more raw and fucked up.
And too much weed.
I'm smoking all the time,
Yeah.
so I need to start exercising it more and taking better care of it, because it's I've been a little more critical of myself recently in the studio.
Hey, maybe turn some of that flour into some like weed tea or something and just drink it.
Good idea.
Might be better for your throat.
That'll ease the throat too.
Yep. Yep. I know how it is. The older you get, your body starts breaking down, and and
we're falling apart. And shit.
It's not like the evil intentions one days where you can like smoke a whole pack of cigarettes and drink a fifth and whatever other drugs were around, and then like still fucking do multiple shows days in a row.
That's pretty much exactly how it was too.
Yeah.
Energizer bunnies back then.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, let's get into Blood, Sweat, and Fears, which I said earlier is my favorite album from you guys. It's got a lot of standout tracks on it, a lot of good features, but that
was a fun album recording too.
You guys hold it down, man. Like, it's got guest production by a lot of people. Toxic. How many songs would you say you did on this one, production wise?
Oh man, I'd have to look at the track list. I
probably
did a little more than half of it.
I think this is the album where on the back you've got like 1 star means this, 2 stars means this, 3 stars means this, 4 stars means this, 5 stars means this. There's a ton of different production on that album.
Yeah, it says right here, it says Bad Mind, Big K, Fiasco Andretti, which some people may know from LSP.
Yep. Yeah, he did
the Gorefather and
Only the Strong Survive, I think it was.
Yeah.
Was Fiasco Andretti.
That song's Only the Strong Survive, man. That is that could be like
that's one of his favorite tracks to do live.
Yeah, it's very, very reminiscent of old classic rock.
Don't forget about those Wicked K credits on that album as well.
He did a little bit of stuff too.
Oh, really? Oh, you did some guitars, didn't you?
Yeah, I twanged a couple chords out.
All the guitars on the actual song "Blood, Sweat, and Fears" were all him.
Oh, that's awesome. Good to know that. What about Somebody Wake Me? Was that you on the guitar?
No, that was actually BK from Mental Ward.
Okay.
That's a badass guitar riff, though. I
like the acoustic version of that one.
Yeah.
Where it's just us and the guitar.
Yeah, definitely. And then Down Below, featuring our next guest, Lissa Sear. Yeah.
That's also one of my favorite tracks.
That's one of my personal favorites on there.
Yeah. I messaged her. I'm like, that's going to be your intro song for this show because it leads right from Troubled Minds to Lissa Sear. Like,
Nice.
But yeah, I think that's among one of your best like tracks. I could listen to that song any day, and like I was listening to it at 5 a.m. today, making my coffee. I'll probably
It's a
listen
good
to
one to
it
listen to.
as soon as I get done with this recording. So yeah, Down Below, and then you had like a couple other tracks with her, maybe just one more with her backing. But that
What
was
the,
Is There Really a
Is There
God?
Really a God? I think it was.
Which is kind of like a little bit of a duet with Wicked K, sort of.
Yeah. Yep. That was her and him both singing on there.
Do you guys
Yeah,
think you'll
there's
ever do
tracks.
more collabs like that together?
We have a few of them floating around. I don't remember where exactly they landed, actually, but me and her have sang together on quite a few things. Like,
There was a
Listen
few
Seer is
things.
one
There
of
was
my
supposed to
favorite
be
people to
another
sing
Murder
with.
Mob album, but it never got completed.
Yeah.
There's a few on there.
Where did we release Dungeon of Doom?
That was on,
Since 99?
That's no,
That's 99,
that's
I
on.
believe.
Yeah, that's on one of the mixtapes. That's a good song.
Or yeah, it's on
Lyrical Bloodbath.
or the one we did before that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was on the okay. I remember now.
Dungeon of
But
Doom's
yeah,
a good
like
track.
yeah, we have a few tracks floating around with her, even on like God, I'm trying to think. Like on I want to say BO Dub released a few that me and her sang on
Yeah.
together. So yeah, they're floating around places.
Yeah, I would just
Yeah, I absolutely love to sing
love
with her
to
some
see more of you two harmonizing like that, because
I talked to her recently. She said she was talking about starting back on her album and stuff.
Yeah, I think so. And I when I first heard her, I didn't know she sang. I thought she only rapped, and it honestly wasn't until I heard the Murder Mob album where she just sings a little bit on the hooks, and then I got more into. I actually never heard Blood, Sweat, and Fears until like I had you guys like since you said you were going to be the guest. Then I finally got around to it. I'm like, holy shit, haven't I heard this?
Yeah, there's a big catalog. Check out everything, because there's like compilation albums and everything that never, they only got released for shows and stuff. Like,
yeah, Troubled Minds was always one of those groups where I wouldn't know what album to start with, so I would just pick a random track off a random album and be like, this is pretty sick. This is kind of like Twisted, but
like you could just type it in Spotify and just hit shuffle and just go through the catalog and just
but like
not hear a duplicate track all day. Like, it's crazy.
But once I once it clicked for me, was when I realized the vocal hooks, the musical production in the background, the lyrics are a lot different than a lot of the underground Wicked shit stuff. Because you guys want to kind of get into your like lyrical content real quick, kind of the stuff that you talk about. Because I feel like it's a little bit different, like different spin on horror than I think a lot of other horrorcore.
Yeah, it was like we said earlier, like, we kind of try to paint more of like the image in somebody's head of something like on each track, but it's pretty much like whatever the beat is, like, that kind of will build off of that and stuff like that. And just kind of
a lot of what we write about ends up reverting back to like besides the horror aspect, depression and suicide.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We do a lot of like mental health type tracks. Like,
yeah.
I guess you could call it
positive.
right. Yeah.
A lot of guns in the mouth lyrics.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So I mean, like,
which I don't know. For me, when I get high, I don't ever feel like doing that. But I feel like a lot of your songs, you guys are just smoking a joint and putting a gun to your head.
So, life's hard. Life's rough and shit, and everybody gets frustrated and whatnot. And I'm not saying like I'm super depressed or anything like that, but people get depressed. And it's kind of like, I don't even know really how it came about. That's kind of where I draw a lot of inspiration for tracks, is that depression. And so a lot of stuff reverts back to cutting yourself or putting a gun in your mouth, and fucking, it's not even necessarily about killing yourself half the time now. Like, if you listen to Toxic's verses, he's cutting himself a lot and shooting you in the fucking face. Like, it's just about, like the rush of fucking
the ultimate release. The ultimate release, and also numbing whatever's eating at you.
Right. And what's crazy though is like those are the type of tracks, so we get hit up by people all the time saying like, dude, like, I just want to say thank you. Like, this track saved me. And it's like, damn, like, something we created like that, like, can actually help people and shit too.
Yeah, because we've had some songs that are just fucking downright
Especially like
terrible
I
and
Need Therapy,
depressing
When I'm Gone, like
about
tracks like
suicide, and people really get inspiration from it. Because I mean, you might be saying some of the most evil and nastiest shit you can think of on these tracks, but it's about an outlet, getting it out. You know, this is like for me and him. We haven't gotten there yet, but we have a track called "I Need Therapy," and that's pretty much what this is for us. This is
Right.
therapy. You know,
Mhm.
we're fucking. I'm not even. This is fun for us too. We still make tracks when we're, you know, in good moods. We even like when we're pissed off. That's when some of our best tracks come
right.
out.
That's
You
when
know,
it's
it's
like,
like
fuck it, let's get in the studio,
you
let's
get
work
that
on
rage
something.
and everything out. You get some subconscious feelings out, I guess, in your writings, and that's where
It's
the
a
real
relief.
that's where the real
Yeah.
tracks come out. You know?
Yeah, and I think it makes a lot
There's a few
of
on this next album we're working on.
it. Like what you're saying actually goes really into like what Defect also raps a lot about that a lot too. And I think So Far Gone on your track on that album, I mean, kind of sums that up.
Right.
Just like
That's a good one too.
yeah, just like that shit. Like, it's like why not pound it out in the studio instead of taking yourself out, you know? But
Right.
or whatever
That's
you
pretty
do.
much exactly like how it is too. Like,
Yep.
and there's a lot of people out there that can relate to that type of, track.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I've gotten hit up about before. Like, oh my god, dude, this
Right.
is a phenomenal track. This helped me out so much. It's nice. It's nice to hear that, you know, especially when you're feeling a certain way when you make it. So it's nice that it's able to help some people, you know.
It helps make it all worth doing, busting your ass for all these years and just continuing to do shit.
It's surprising that a lot of the violence has been done in the name of horrorcore. Was
Right.
decades ago, and there were very isolated incidents that I don't feel like. I mean, violent
Right.
people are drawn to violent content, but like violent content saves a lot of people from committing violent acts.
Oh, for sure.
It's very rarely a catalyst. It's sometimes a pregame for a murder. I mean, it is sometimes people watch a violent movie or listen to a violent song beforehand.
Right.
But most
Right.
of the time, it's not a catalyst towards it. They just had it in their collection because they were attracted to that kind of stuff.
Right.
But I think when you look at the amount of people that are saved by it compared to the amount of people that have been murdered, it's insane.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, if you
100%.
can see all these horror rappers inboxing, you'll see. Like, I mean, it's not just us. We have, you know, tons of friends in the industry, and we've heard and seen all these messages and shit. Like our homie Scum, man. Like, I'm sure he has fucking 10 million "You've saved my life" emails. I see people hug him all the time. Like, bro, I'm alive because of you. You know, I see that shit happen all the time when we're around him. Like,
Yep.
this really does have a positive effect on people's lives,
For sure.
whether or not the content's violent. You know,
Right.
Be like, I was listening to Decapitators too, and you stopped me from cutting off my mom's head. But yeah, for sure. And like, honestly, Scum, some of those very violent, very snuffy,
Right. For sure.
gross,
For
disgusting lyrics have gotten me through some times where I thought I was going to fucking kill someone. And I would just listen to
Right.
that shit and I'd be like, I'm good.
And you almost feel like you did, you know?
Right.
Yeah, for sure. And
The way I describe what we do to people, I said, just imagine if Stephen King started rapping, you know, like all those
and breakdancing.
eerie, scary details and shit of his fucking movies is kind of like what we do in lyric, you know?
For sure. For sure.
And I get a lot of that, like
We're building that horror movie just in like an audio form.
right, and like you were saying, you know, you could hear his lyrics, you know, you feel like you're gonna kill somebody, and you hear some of Scum's lyrics, and you're like, oh man, okay, I feel all right now. You know, that's kind of how I am with horror movies sometimes.
Right.
You know, like, oh, I'm fucking raging, and then I watch somebody get fucking murdered in the horror movie. And it's like, ooh, all right, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Right.
kind of
Okay
like humbles you a little bit. Yeah.
Right. For
Right.
sure.
And also
Gives you a little perspective.
puts
Right.
you like you watch some of like the very very like I'm talking extreme horror like torture movies and stuff. It puts you in survival
Right.
scenarios that like you kind of feel like you're like if you can survive that, then like you can survive anything, you know what I mean?
Right. Pretty much.
So
Pretty much.
do you guys watch any like extreme content, or do you watch more like mainstream horror films?
I mean, I've seen a lot of it and stuff at least once, just check it out. But like, I'm more into like the mainstream stuff. Like Saw is one of my favorite like series like to watch and shit because that's just kind of fucked up.
You ever like get into like the foreign movies or like the underground
Like
stuff?
I've seen some of them. Like Demonic used to get all kinds of bootlegs and stuff from a homie of us.
Yeah, he was
of
talking
ours
about
back in the day,
that.
watching them on VHS and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, Demonic used to have a lot of fucked up shit he'd make us watch.
Right. Like check this shit out. Like all right, bet.
So it's crazy because I thought a lot more horror because I that's the kind of shit that I'm into.
Right.
And when I got into the show, one of the goals was like kind of bring these two communities together, the horrorcore community and the extreme underground film community. And I'm very surprised how little people in horrorcore actually like extreme visual content.
Right.
They like horror films, but like when it comes to like,
to me, the other stuff's just easier to get. Like,
yeah, it's like I think like watching someone get tortured for an hour with really good special effects is like it takes a certain type of brain. I guess I'm that type of brain, but like but like audio and visual are two really different ways to go through a horror scenario, and I think personally I like the audio version better.
Right,
because
especially
you can,
like
it's like
an
reading
artist,
a book.
like you get an artist like Scum or somebody like that, they can paint that picture in your head, like telling a story or insane poetry or even like Gordy and stuff like that. Like,
have you guys ever read American Psycho?
No.
Okay, because I haven't either, so we're all in the same boat.
Right.
But what I've heard, there's stuff in that book that you couldn't even like. There's not even special effects that could show what was in that book because it's so disgusting and filthy.
It's crazy.
And I think that's the good thing about. That's the cool thing about. Yeah, I have the audiobook. I need to get to it.
I was gonna say, yeah, I'm old school. I'd probably get the audiobook, like listen to that shit at work.
Yeah, maybe with headphones though. But I feel like that's kind of like what horrorcore is cool is because like you can do shit. Like I think you guys do stuff in your music that you couldn't do in a movie, at least not in a mainstream movie.
Try to get creative with shit.
Yeah,
there'll be a lot of tricky films, a lot of tricky scenes to film.
Right.
Yeah. Especially when you get like underage victims, like because you definitely talk about slaughtering children. You talk about like no one's safe in a Troubled Mind song. Like you'll kill you'll kill an old lady or like a kid or. Like,
I mean, like that type of shit happens in real life. You know what I'm saying? Like that, we're basically just telling a story, but just putting our own spin on it.
So let me tell you this real quick. So I know I myself have mentioned, you know, like crushing little kids' heads and doors, you know, shit like that.
That was on the early albums too. Evil Intentions, I think it was.
And a lot of it,
Little babies.
people will be like, "Oh my god, this guy fucking hates kids" or whatever, blah blah blah. I have two kids, 11 and 13.
He's only crushed your head in the door 3 times. No.
A lot of sometimes my violent lyrics will come from something positive in my life. When my ex-wife was pregnant with my son, my first son, it was like the happiest time of my life. I was very anxious to become a dad. I was really looking forward to it. I was, you know, the dad that talked to the belly and rubbed the belly and kissed the belly and waited for the kicks and all that stuff. You know, I was very eager to become a dad. And we wrote a track that I believe was on Thoughts of a Lunatic or maybe Massacre.
No, it was Evil Intentions. It was.
I don't remember what album it was on, but this particular lyric. So I wrote this lyric because I was thinking of my wife at the time being pregnant and how happy I was to become a dad. And the lyric I came up with was grabbing every pregnant bitch I see and scraping her insides out with a hanger. And I ended up showing that we were on our way to a funeral, and we had one of our friends with us in the back seat, and I played the song, and she heard that, and she's like, "Did you just talk about scraping pregnant bitches' insides out with a coat hanger?" I said, "Yeah." She's like, why would you say that? I was like, I don't know. I was thinking about my wife being pregnant, and I was all happy, and it just kind of came out in lyric form violently. I don't know.
I love that.
So sometimes those violent lyrics you hear actually come from some place of positiveness.
Right.
You know what, Wicked K? I think you actually just got to a point that I've been trying to get to, like all 25 episodes of this show, and nobody said it yet. But that is like getting these ideas, but not just from depressing, disgusting movies or anything like that. But instead, you're like, I'm super happy, but what if this were to happen? You know what I mean? Like, what? Let me go to the complete opposite headspace that I'm at right now, and put you through it.
You know, some of the
It's a whole different kind of creative that comes out. Like
when you
when
think
you're in
back on
different
your
moods.
life and you think back about some of the times when you were the happiest or having like some of the funnest times of your life, a lot that pops up to me was being at, psychopathic shows or other underground shows, and the crowd just fucking going nuts and having a good time, and a lot of that shit's real violent and negative and nasty, but I was having a great time, a positive time.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. It goes hand in hand, I guess. You can have a positive time and write negatively about it, or
Yeah.
have a good time listening to negative music,
I just think that's awesome that you could come from that standpoint and still come up with gold. You know what I mean?
Right.
Thank you. I'm glad you think of it as gold.
Right.
So we did touch a little bit on I Need Therapy. That's like your most current album. 2019, obviously we were hit with a lot of pandemic and other
Right. Yeah.
bullshit.
The whole world shut down and shit.
Toxic, you've been getting a lot done behind the scenes in that time. You helped produce Shane Poppenwolf's a lot of tracks for him.
Yeah, I did pretty much all the mixing, recording, mixing, and mastering on the first one he put out, Low Life Resurrection.
Yep.
And then he did a lot of the recording for the Great Lakes Butcher at his studio, but I did a lot of the mixing on it. Like he had it mixed once by somebody, and I don't know, he said he just wasn't as happy with the mixes, or it didn't sound right to him. So he brought it over here, and I just told him, I was like, get me all the sessions, and I was like, I'll make it happen. Like
what it is he's been so used to
Yeah.
Toxic mixing his tracks for all these years that it didn't sound right when somebody else.
When I get a
mixed it.
text from Shane that says, dude, I don't want nobody touching my tracks but you. It was like, man, like, all right.
You're making
I'll do what I can.
everyone
make it
else
sound
makes him
right.
sound like T.I. or Akon or something. And like
Right.
he needs to get back.
Put that T-Pain effect over his vocals. No. But no, Shane's been killing shit lately. I'm loving all the new shit he's been dropping.
Oh yeah.
He actually just sent me a track the other day that he wants me to drop on.
Yeah, I think he's one of my favorite rappers right now. It was very unsuspected when I heard his stuff, so I was like,
Right.
kind of
No, Shane, and
I was
he's
like, how have I never
fucking
heard
busting
this?
his
It's so
ass
good.
too. He's
Yeah.
like hit me up all the time. Like I just got like a bunch of new beats from Bad Mind. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I got this track dropped. What do you think about this one? Like he's always sending me tracks through Messenger.
Dude, and he sends me tracks before they're done, and then and then I'll hear it when it's done and the progress.
Right, just the quality of it so much crazy.
And like I don't know, his lyrics are genius. Like I've gotten into it too many times on the show,
He's
but
creative as fuck with his writing. Like
yeah. Everyone needs to go listen to Shane Poppenwolf, all his stuff, but especially
For
Great
sure.
Lakes Butcher.
check out
Butcher
that new
stuff.
Great Lakes Butcher that
And-
just dropped.
You're on it too, right, Toxic?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So
He's got everything. He's
Right, yeah, me and
he produces and mixes it all, so he just jumps in whenever he wants to.
Bad Mind did all the production on it, like the beats and stuff. I just did the mixing on all, but I think there was like
I think you're on a
4
song.
tracks that I think 3 or 4 tracks that Bloodshot mixed.
Yeah.
And I mastered the whole album.
Yeah, it's so good.
But yeah,
man.
the track with me, it was me and Rhapsodus on No One Above Us.
Yeah, that's a solid track too.
Yeah, that Shane just came by here one day and he had a bunch of beats on his phone. He was going through them. He's like, we should all do a track. I think we were already working on dropping that Graveyard track that I gave you.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that in a second. I got a couple to
Yeah, we
premiere.
were dropping that one, and then Shane had a beat after we got done with that. He said we should drop something. It was me, him, and Rhapsody still here.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, I can't actually think of a better time. Why don't we play this track? You guys need a second to use the bathroom or get anything to drink?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Sure, we're good. I mean, you can go ahead and play it.
All right.
We'll just have a little smoke break real quick.
We've been having a smoke.
Right.
So is this Murder Mob?
Well, it was pretty much like we said, like Murder Mob is pretty much still like our crew of people, like all the artists we worked with. And like Rhapsody, he started off, he was originally part of Metal War thing. Joined Kit with KYB and stuff, and he's still been doing stuff. Actually working on mixing one of his albums now.
Sounds like Big Sin.
So good with hooks, verses, lyrics in general.
BK from Millwood.
What you thinking? Assalamu alaikum. We can take him down to the creek. We gon' make him disintegrate to nothing. Send him to the worst.
So has BK rapped in a while?
He's like, he's not really like pursuing music, but like he'll hit me up randomly like, hey man, I want to get in the studio, like that. Like anytime he wants to get in the studio, I try to make myself acceptable because he's by far like him and Mindz, like some of the most creative like artists I've worked with. Like they can sit in the studio and just come up with shit so quick. Like
Working with them gets you thinking more. Gets you to be more creative on your toes.
right.
This is awesome. It reminds me a lot of the God Hates Us EP with the production and Big Sin on the hook.
Yeah, no, this beat right here I made, and then Phil came up with the hook on it. And it sat there for a while, and then we eventually finished it up years later, just going through shit like, man, I forgot about this one.
I like those vocal effects. All demonic sounding.
Right. Yeah, he gets creative with shit. He likes to layer his shit a lot.
Because he's an Exorcist fan.
Right. Yep.
He likes that possessed sound. There you are.
Yep, that's me.
Yeah, I bumped this like fucking
Yeah.
20 times in a row.
This track, I was going through stuff, and I'm like, man, what can we send them, that's new and unreleased? And it was like Rhapsodist that actually sent me a text like about a week or so ago, like, when's Graveyard dropping? And I was like, you know what, like, I'm gonna send it to him tonight.
Oh yeah, dude. And what's the plans for this release?
I'm gonna end up putting it as a single on like DistroKid. It'll be up on Spotify and all that probably within the next month or so.
Cool. So if you don't want to hear us talking over it, make sure
For
you
sure.
pay attention.
Right.
Follow them on Spotify if you haven't. That way you'll know when it comes out.
Yeah, just look up Troubled Minds on Spotify and all that.
Shane?
Yeah, that's popping right there. And I think Demonic's next. Bradley Smothers.
Yep. He's got such a ruthless voice.
Right. I thought we all fit together good, like doing the Evil Intentions albums.
Yeah.
Demonic is one of my favorite people nowadays, just like listening to where he's evolved from.
With the new God Hates Us shit, like that's like some of my favorite shit he's ever done. Like him and Phil fit together like really good as a group. Oh, yeah.
I can't wait to hear it. Crank it.
So try to think of that before you try to flap your lips, or you gonna end up missing. And I got another grave to dig.
Yeah, that shit.
I was gonna say I like the way the track was.
That was a fun track recording too. I tried to make it where it didn't seem like it dragged on forever, but
No, it's a cool posse track, but it doesn't doesn't take too long, you know?
He sent it to me on Dropbox the other day. I pulled it up, and for some reason Dropbox said it was 9 minutes. I'm like, what the fuck?
right.
I don't remember this being 9 minutes. I turn it on, I'm listening to it, driving down the fucking road, and then 3.5 minutes later, it stops. It's like, whoa, what happened?
Oh my gosh, I've done that before.
Right.
Yep. That was a fucking awesome track, man. So we got Murder Mob coming back with a single. Is there going to be a Murder
That was
Mob?
the first time we played it anywhere yet.
Well, hell yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Thanks for sharing that. And do you think Murder Mob's going to be doing a full length kind of thing like that? Like a bunch of posse tracks all
right
on
now,
one album?
everybody's pretty much, kind of doing their own things and stuff like that. Like maybe one day later on down the road. I mean, we got a bunch of tracks that were started for like another album, but just kind of
Hell yeah.
at the time, like there was different things going on with different people that they weren't talking, and it was kind of hard to get together for an album, and it kind of took the fun out of it for a little bit. So we just kind of like, all right, let's everybody focus on their own stuff and just kind of.
Yeah.
If Murder Mob does make its way back, like I said earlier, like he's been saying, it's just our homies,
right?
So it's going to be a different lineup probably than everybody that was before. We might be able to get some people back, but I mean, like there's a lot of people that we don't really talk to as much anymore.
Yeah.
So if it does go down, we'll probably extend an invite, but
right.
I don't know how.
I'm sure if you watch the Wu-Tang documentary, it's probably not too different than that.
Oh shit, that's one of my favorite things to watch. Like,
yeah. Oh, the Mikes and Men. Did you watch that?
What's that?
The Wu-Tang Mikes and Men documentary.
Oh no, I watched the. They had that other one. It was like the Chronicles or something like that.
Oh yeah, that one was really good too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it really just shows you how group dynamics can just fall apart so easily.
Yeah, I just seen them in tour earlier this month, like them and Nas, and that was a crazy ass tour.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Wu-Tang will always be one of my favorites. Like, as
for sure,
obsessed with horrorcore as I am, like I always go back to like. I mean, there's a few albums I might skip, like newer ones, but
right,
even those I can get down with just because it's Wu-Tang affiliated. So.
Right, yeah, it's crazy, like watching like that Chronicles and stuff like that, like how they came up, like was similar to how we all came up, like recording on like some ghetto ass setups, but making it work, and then saving up all your money and taking back bottles to buy a drum machine or
or a
4-track recorder, yeah, a
Yeah.
Casio keyboard so we can hook it up MIDI to play some shit. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, we had some ghetto ass setups over the years, but we made them work.
Yeah, I was doing the
That's
same
what
shit, but like punk music, but like
Really into like thing shit, like
we had this section of the studio back in the day called the Graveyard, where we just had like receivers all stacked up on top of each other that were all burnt out and fucked up. There's probably
any piece of like musical equipment that fried out went in this pile.
Yeah, there's probably like 10, 15 things in this pile that we call the Graveyard.
Where's the graveyard now?
Somewhere in a fucking garbage dump. Like,
You didn't keep it all?
Still some of the Graveyard floating around.
yeah, I mean, I got like old 8-track. Like,
Yeah, show this off. Let's show this
we
bad boy
did a
off.
lot of recording on this thing back in
Yeah,
the day.
we got an album on that somewhere.
Yeah. It's a baby toy
There's
now.
all kinds of ghetto shit we recorded on.
Nice.
Right.
So, Toxic, during COVID and all that shit, anyone else that you produced or collaborated with?
For a while I did like Gordy did a lot of recording over here. King Gordy.
Ooh,
He was
talk about
recording a
that.
lot of collabs for people over here, like a lot of the like How to Gag a Maggot verses and stuff like
Yeah.
that were recorded over here.
Those are fresh.
And
I
I
heard
was
those.
emailing them back over to Jimmy Don and stuff like that.
I heard those. Those are great. That's
Right.
cool. How was that working with King Gordy?
Oh, he's creative as fuck in the studio, and what I like about him is he'll come over, smoke some fire ass weed with you, and then he'll just get to work. And when he's working, he'll just knock shit out so quick. Like, all right, I'm ready to drop this one like that. Like,
Is
and
he
one after another. Like,
is he
he'd
OG
come over
Kush
dropping
only now?
collabs for people and drop 8 collabs in one session.
Does he only smoke OG Kush still? Like, I heard that's the only strain.
Oh no,
he
he smokes fucking all kinds of like Cali weed and shit like
'Cause
that.
I remember hearing an interview where he was like, I only smoke OG Kush. I was like,
So back when we first, I think when we first met King Gordy and started doing shows with him.
Shit, he was my first caregiver for when I got my medical card back in like 2010 or 11.
Yeah, I think it was OG Sour Diesel he used to smoke back when we first started hanging, like
That
seeing
Plan
him around
18 or
shows and
whatever
stuff.
it was.
And he would fucking, every time we see him at a show, that's all he'd be doing is rolling up. Hey, what's up? Come smoke. Sit down and smoke. That's all he did until he went on stage. That shit was legendary.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. That guy's always got weed. I love it.
Right.
And he's a cool guy too. He's real fucking like inviting, like come on in.
Hook him over, sit down, roll up a backwood, and like.
Light it up and hand it to you.
But yeah.
So, I don't know. Maybe this is some insider information, but did you get any info on when Anakin's going to drop?
When what's gonna drop?
Anakin, his long-awaited album.
I've been waiting on that one for years. Like he's been talking about it for years. I know he's recorded tracks for it, like at other studios, like FBT and stuff like that. Like, I know he's got a lot of stuff recorded for it, but I have no idea anything about that. I would love to hear that album when it's out, though.
Did you hear the new Dr. Giggles album, Resuscitation?
I did not.
It's got that's got a track with Fury, Bizarre, and King Gordy, and
Nice.
they're doing a music video for it. But it's fucking great. So it's great.
I'll check it out.
Great to see all those guys kind of like doing songs together again. Going back, way back again, real quick. I had a quick question which I forgot to ask. When did you guys think that you found your voice?
Like me, like I think like I started to find my voice like halfway through the recording of Blood Brothers, like recording tracks like Suicide High and
because
like Killer's Anthem and
you sounded a lot like Wicked K at the beginning. Like you guys sounded similar, and then like around that
that's
time,
because we were all young as hell and all sounded like little kids on Evil Intentions.
Yeah, see what happened.
Then you got
Blood
raspy.
Brothers, like, we were still
But like Nightmares, I think is where like I think we found our like actual sound.
Well, on Blood Brothers, we were still kind of fucking
trying to figure shit out because it was only the two of us.
Yeah, and we were dicking around trying to have fun, so we would have these battles with each other, like, well, let's see who can get the most rhymes in like 2 or 4 bars.
Like, all right, how many times can you rhyme one word? Like, and just challenge each other. So, like, I'd get like 15, and he'd be like, all right, I got 20. Like, God damn you. Like,
so I mean, like, there's
we'd always try to one up each other.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on that album, but I always told him for the longest time, like, he fucking was years ahead of me for a while because I was still didn't know where I wanted to be necessarily. I was still unsure about the whole singing thing, I guess, even though I was still doing it.
Right.
I was at a point where I didn't know like if people were really digging it or not. And then we just got different beats, I guess, or different style of beats, to me at least, when we got to Nightmares. And that's what really, those beats I was really able to cling to. Like, oh, man, I like to sing on that. Oh, I'd like to sing on that, you know?
Right.
I think that's, Nightmares is where I started to get in my groove. But I think Thoughts of a Lunatic is where I really found myself. Like,
yeah,
that's where I found what I wanted to do, where I want to be.
When did you start realizing that people were kind of like digging the singing, like that it was like starting to catch people's ears?
Yeah, because for a while there, you know, at the shows, like everyone would be singing with us on the ones that we did have singing on, and it's like, man, that's fucking magical. I want
right, that shit would like blow my mind, like going out there and like you look out there and there's a shitload of people just rapping your shit along with you. It's like, damn,
like bringing it back to Stir Crazy,
so
fucking
cool.
Killer's Anthem, man. When we dropped that. Even to this day, like even people who never heard that song, we'll still pull that out of the bag sometimes.
Right.
It's just everyone going, "We're the ones." Like that's fucking. That still takes my breath away.
That's a fun one
when we do that one. Yeah.
Because I can imagine it would be pretty daunting to like kind of like expose yourself that way, like showing them that you can sing and stuff at first.
Right.
But then like once you realize that people are like kind of getting into it, it must have been a really good feeling.
Right.
Yeah. See, one thing about me is I guess I like don't accept compliments, and so for years, you know, people would tell me like, "Man, that singing's fucking awesome." I'd be like, "Oh, cool, thanks, man. I sounded like shit tonight." Why would
he was like his
say
biggest
that,
critic and shit like that. Like,
but once I kind of started letting go of that and started, you know, like, "Oh, thanks, man. You know, that makes me feel good. Thanks for that compliment." You know, I started accepting it. That's when I kind of started diving deeper into it. You know. Because I was doubting it a lot at first.
Right.
I had a lot of people in my crew that would be like, "You singing all the time for?" It's like, I don't know. Now I feel stupid.
Right.
Dude, I could totally see you making like an Everlast style, like, you know, when he did solo stuff, and it was like the hip hop mixed with the singing and stuff. Like, I think you could really. I
honestly want to, because I've been on and off with my guitar for years, and I've been trying to get back into it again recently, playing a lot more, and that's what I want to do is some acoustic stuff and rap over that.
Like, I love the Somebody Wake Me acoustic.
Yeah.
Like that one.
Yeah, it's when I hear something like that, that's a market that's not touched, really.
Right, yeah. There's not many horrorcore artists that have acoustic tracks, you know?
I mean, the closest,
there's a few out there, I'm sure.
Closest thing would be Everlast, and he's not horrorcore, so...
Right, yeah.
Yeah, but that's like the closest thing I can think of. So yeah, that would be sick, man. Like, I would love to see just more of that for sure.
That's something I need to start working on then.
Like,
Because I've been trying to learn
Mindz Unplugged album and shit.
Yeah, I've been trying to learn
Madness did it.
Other people's songs like classic rock and shit, but I need to start working on original shit then, start trying to lay that down to a beat. Because I mean, that's really like going back to Blood, Sweat, and Fears. That album started because he got machine.
That Native Instruments machine.
How do I fucking pronounce it? I don't know shit about the equipment and tech part of it. That's all him. I just play guitar, beat on drums a little bit, and sing. But he got that for Christmas from his wife, and was it Christmas Day he called me over?
Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve he called me over. He's like, dude, I got this fucking machine. Better come over.
I sent him a picture. It's like 2 a.m. My wife got home from work and we opened gifts on Christmas Eve and stuff. So we opened that up and I sent him a picture. It's like 2:30 in the morning. He's like, can I come over? Like, yes. Like,
so I fucking grabbed my guitar. I grabbed my effects pedal. I drove over.
Like, a lot of that beat wasn't even like recorded. I didn't even know how to record on the machine. We just like played it out and stuff like that. Just placed everything. And
it was like 3 a.m. I got over here. Fucking, he had already started kind of laying down a drum. He's like, dude, this is fucking awesome. He's just hitting buttons, and it was the beat that you hear on Blood, Sweat, and Fears.
Right.
And I was like, oh, dude, what? Okay, hold up. And I fucking hooked up my guitar and everything, and just started strumming along with it. And I was strumming what you hear in the background pretty much. So we laid that down, and then I just started fucking around with some leads and laid down a couple more layers of leads. And that's what you hear today was made on Christmas Eve, technically Christmas Day.
It was started on Christmas Day.
And
Christmas.
it's easily ranking up there with like one of my favorite horrorcore albums for sure too. Like I can't get enough of that album, Blood, Sweat, and Fears. I don't want to undermine any of the other albums. I think that I Need Therapy has a way bigger sound. I think it's
everybody's got their own personal favorite album, but I Need Therapy is one of mine.
I keep telling him every new album that we release is my new favorite album.
Right.
Yeah, and I think I need to listen to I Need Therapy a lot more. And like I was just saying, like it's way bigger sounding. Like it sounds like you amped up the production. What did you do different to make
hold on. Thank you for that, because that's what I commented on earlier, like being with taking choir classes growing up and shit. I just want things to sound bigger, like a fucking, I don't know, an Aerosmith track. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, he'll layer over hooks like 30 tracks, like, and then I got to do all the mixing on it.
He gets fucking mad at me, like, you still want to add more tracks? Like, no, dude, there's something.
He's like, I need to add this pitch to it, this pitch to it. But
this isn't a Joker
some of
song.
the production on there too, like, helped build that album up. Like, we got a few beats from LeChum. He's from Canada. He makes some dope ass production too.
His are fucking phenomenal.
He hit me up one day and was like, "Hey man," he's like, "Go through my beat page. Any beats that you like, I'll send them to you." He's like, "You just got to send me the tracks." And he used to put out mixtapes out there and promote them in Canada too. And
that's awesome.
They would have our music on there and like other artists from around here that he fucked with. But he was always sending us some dope ass beats.
Who else was on? Who else produced that one?
I want to say Bad Mind did 1 or 2 on that album. I did a lot on that album.
I heard that Wicked K guy produced a track.
Schizophrenic, he did the whole beat. Like, he brought over his like digital drum set and everything and did all the guitars, bass, and everything on it.
I'm gonna listen to that.
Like, at first there was a whole nother beat like around his drums, and then he's like, "No, I kind of want to lay this on it." And like we took out my whole beat. Just he did everything pretty much on his own, like with the bass, guitar, drums. And
that's awesome.
We just built that. And
then you got Scum and McFleazy.
Yep.
Who's McFleazy?
And Decapitatus too. We did the first Decapitatus track back in the day on Scum's Gorefather album.
I love that.
Like
song.
he hit us up and was like, "Hey, you guys want to drop on my album?" And I was like, "Hell yeah!" So years later, we did part 2 on our album.
We went out and did Gorefest a couple times. And went out there.
I think 07 was the first one we went out there.
No, when we did Decapitatus with him. He performed Decapitatus twice with us out there, 2 different times. And both times we got off stage, man, we had like a ton of people come up like, "Man, I didn't know you were them fucking guys that was on that track. I love that fucking track. I didn't know you were those other guys."
Dude, it's good. It's good.
McFly showed me, like, he's like, "Man, this is like one of his like highest streamed tracks and shit, like in his top 5. I was like, "That's dope."
Oh, who's McFleazy though?
That's It's McFly. He is one of Scum's like best friends, and he used to back in the day. He did Scum's hype and everything.
Oh, cool.
He performed, live with them many years.
Because
But
I've
that's
seen him
just
on
like one of
LSP
Scum's
stuff
like best
before.
friends. That's actually how I got introduced to like him through I want to say Icarus and stuff like that.
Oh, yep.
Like he's good people for sure.
Right on.
He doesn't really rap, you know what I'm saying? Like he just did his like hype and stuff like that. But there is a few tracks. I believe he did a couple with Smalls one and stuff like that too.
Hey,
Like he just randomly raps on stuff.
that's
Yeah,
cool.
me, Toxic, Scum, and McFly or McFleazy.
Yeah,
We're the Decapitators. So anytime we do a Decapitators track, he'll be on it.
right.
Okay. So more to come, I'm assuming. Hopefully.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
We
Nice.
talked about it.
Yeah, Scum's always good people to work with.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
That man is like one of the hardest working people in the fucking underground.
Yeah, for sure.
I finally got to meet him at a bar like
Yeah.
That's
a couple-
fun, man, and more.
I met him at a bar a couple weeks ago or months ago at the Rock the Dock tour, and
Nice.
he just sat there and talked horrorcore with me for like an hour.
Yep.
And like I wanted to let him go
And he
so he
knows
could do
his
his
shit,
thing,
too.
and he was like not letting me go. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
he was just down to sit there and talk, where most people were
Oh, he's
would
good
want to get
people.
on their way. So
Yeah, he's a fan of the scene. That's why he's so successful in it, man. You know, he's a fan of everything going on too.
He's only one of the few people I'll drink Jaeger with. I fucking hate Jaeger, but
he even started
there's
mosh
only
pits.
a few people I'll drink it with.
He
Him,
was starting
Andy
mosh
Sherman, and
pits. He
PJ
was singing
probably.
along. He's a cool guy to hang out with at shows. Everyone's talked about how
Right.
fun he is to hang out with, and then like I got to witness it in person. So
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's always fun getting invited out to Gore Fest and stuff like that. Like
yeah, I want to go to that so
all
bad.
the scene out there in Colorado.
Oh yeah.
I want to
Yeah,
go
fun
to
time.
that. Hopefully, if you guys are there, hopefully I'll be there too. That'd be sick.
Hell yeah. We weren't able to make it this year, but hopefully next year we'll be out there.
I get vacation time next year, so
Right.
if we get the invite, Scum, wink, wink, we'll be there.
So, is there a normal like protocol when you guys are laying down a track, or is it kind of random? Like-
It changes.
It changes like a lot. There's times where like, he'll be over here and like we'll be fucking around in the studio and come up with something. Or there'll be times where like I'll make a couple beats and I'll send them over to him and he'll just hit me back like, I got a hook for this one. Like, all right, like
literally, it just depends on what kind of inspiration you're hit with at the time. Like,
Right.
like for instance, Schizophrenic, the one where I laid down, everything on the beat and everything. I was at work scrubbing the floor, and I started thinking of just like the guitar or not the guitar. I'm sorry, the drum tempo in my head, not necessarily the drum pattern. And I started thinking of just a grungy little guitar riff in my head. And that was all that I was rocking out to in my head, no music going on or anything, just thinking of a drum tempo and a guitar riff.
right.
And then eventually I ended up writing a whole verse thinking of that drum pattern and that guitar riff. And then I went home and, I already had the whole verse wrote down on my phone. I went home and messed around with my guitar and found the pattern that I had been thinking of. And then I started fucking around with the drums, and I was like, all right, I got to get a hold of Toxic. I got something
Right.
going on here.
Because he's like, all right, I'm coming by the studio. He starts loading in all these drums and shit. Like, all right, like, let's make it work.
So yeah, it really is like a lot of people have like, oh, it's on the computer. We get up the beat program and we just
Right.
start making a song. But really, it's sometimes you get hit with a lyric and you're like, hold on, because I've done that to him where I said, all right, I got this lyric, but it's got to go to this pace, this tempo, and he'll have to sit there and
He'll
think
be
of
like
a drum beat.
beatboxing, like some kind of like sound that he wants. And
Yep, and then we'll
we got to
just
go through shit until we find it.
we'll come up with whatever melody comes after that. But it really all depends on what inspiration hits you when you're thinking about making a track at that time.
For sure.
That's dope. Is there anything you guys don't like talking about anymore in your songs?
I mean, I guess there's really like doing horrorcore music. You got to know there's like no boundaries really, but like
But then again, if you don't want to deal with people's
Yeah.
shit, there kind of is bound.
there's too much of a cancel culture nowadays.
Yeah.
Like that's why I feel like the Animal to Me track. It's like that's kind of our like
So
stepping on that line a little bit.
yeah,
Like,
and that's something I wanted to bring up too when we did get to that track.
Right.
It's not like a shout at cancel culture, but it is like, you know what, man, like you can't say anything about anything anymore. Well, fuck that.
It's like you think that's bad. Listen to a Shane Poppin' Wolf album.
yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Listen to Poppin'. You won't
Right.
you won't think Animal would be so bad, but
We'll
still
look like angels.
Animal to me, like something I guess we've talked about over the years too, is like, I guess we're not as shock value horrorcore as everybody else, because a lot of people are real want to use fuck, shit, cunt, whatever words they can think of on top of like stab, 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 or whatever to get your attention.
Right.
As you mentioned earlier, we delve into the details of the story.
Right. Yeah. Try to build the story a little bit more than just rhyming a word with another word. Like.
So, and you'll have to forgive me, I get fucking spaced out. Plus, I've been smoking. I kind of forgot the point we were driving at.
Right.
Oh, Animal to me. About the state of cancel culture and.
Oh yeah. So yeah. Animal to me. I apologize. I get.
Yeah, no worries.
Stories
I'm getting there with you, man.
But yeah, like you just sometimes you gotta stop giving into the pressure. I guess
giving a fuck what people are gonna think. Like, you know what? This is what I feel like rapping about.
It's funny because you listen to Animal to me, and it's kind of a little, I guess, more shocked than what we normally do. A little more, I guess, more gruesome and ruthless than what we normally do. It's less of the details leading up to it, more of the this is what we're fucking doing, bitch.
I'm into it.
And it's funny though, because people will listen to that and they might think of us and be like, oh my God, they went a little over the line of what they normally do. But the whole reason that track came to be, when we listen to it, you'll hear the hook. That's how the track started. Me and my girlfriend, at the suggestion of my sister, started watching Tiger King. Mm-hmm. And we got real wrapped up into how funny that was and watching that. And
Joe Exotic and shit.
Yeah, in the middle of watching this show with these tigers locked in these cages and shit, I was listening to a beat Toxic sent me and was just kind of thinking, like people locked in cages, being locked in the cage, and just started fucking singing out something. And the track just kind of came to me. My whole verse laid out.
He dropped his verse on there and stuff like that. It was about a week it went by before I dropped on it. And I finally sent him my verse back, and he's like, "Holy fuck, man! Way to stick to a concept like you fucking killed that shit."
He came back and put everything that I said, just fucking made it pussy shit.
Painted that picture
his verse really blew mine out of the water, but still,
I had fun writing that one. It
was different, a little different than what we normally do, and I really enjoyed diving deeper into the shock a little,
Cool. Well, let's give it a spin now and see what you guys are talking about.
For sure.
This also kind of has that big sound you're talking about too. Hopefully, I think
it already does. I can already tell. It sounds good.
What makes you think you can leave? You aren't escaping from me. Try all you want not to believe. You are an animal to me. Get you locked in your cage, and now I'm shaking full of rage.
See, I can't do that singing shit.
That's just Wicked K layering over himself?
Right.
What was it?
Oh, that's just you singing?
Yeah.
That was him, yeah. Like 900 layers of him singing.
I'm trying to see just how your panties taste with a couple ounces of blood. It's so good. I'm like the motherfucking pussy Dracula in my hood. You're sitting in your cage, fucking bleeding and naked. The bitch shackled next to you, screaming she ain't gonna make it. And you know she right.
I feel like Shane would have fit good on this track.
We should have had
You can tell by the stench of rotten, dirty bitches' bodies all in the air.
God,
We ain't got no ventilation though, because we don't care. We fucking killers, ho. And you are main prey. Better start praying to God, cause it's your last day.
I was really impressed with my verse. Like, I was fucking talking to Toxic about it. Like, man, that verse was so fucking hard. I love it.
It's angry, man. It's angry.
This shit he comes up with, man, I was like, oh, now I want to rewrite my verse.
Got 'em locked up in the basement, chained up in cages. They can barely move their body, so we like the Michael Vick, but got a different type of bitches. They just as vicious, biting and clawing at the competition. We make them fight till death while we placing bets. Whoever loses,
Talking
give
about like some dog fighting there with like
treat them
fucking
like
bitches.
animals, keep them on a short leash. Only
I don't even know anything to say during this. I just want to hear it.
At night I hear them talking, trying to find a way out. But there ain't no even once you step inside the murder house. Unless it's
Toxic says some fucked up shit sometimes.
Yeah, he really does, man. You go through and listen to this one again without the blabber over. It's like, holy shit.
They just need to be ready to fight when they hear that bell ring. I wanna see them bleeding. I wanna hear them screaming. Just hope they know that whether they win or lose, they never leaving.
What makes you think
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
that was a fun one.
you wanna escape?
I don't
That's one of his favorite tracks to do live. We're actually going to be performing this one in Indiana here in a couple weeks.
You really go with the bassy
Oh, wait,
singing.
no.
This man's
Maybe
a
we're not
liar.
doing this. Thinking about Lunatic.
I was wanting to do this one
Yeah,
live.
we're doing another new track on
We're
this.
doing a different.
Wicked K, your vocals are you go a lot deeper on that. I feel like than you normally do.
Yeah, he can hit pretty much like any pitch. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, I just felt like for that one, man, like just like an inner, I don't know, like an inner thing. It wasn't like a,
Diaphragm.
yeah, you know, I don't know how to
I feel
describe
like
it,
him and Gino from Dark Half would have fit like great
Ooh.
on some shit together.
Didn't
Like,
that
Gino,
happen? I
like
feel
Dark
like-
Half's one of my favorite groups in the underground. Like,
We had talked about
Me
it
and
quite
Gino.
a few times before he passed, and I was pretty upset that we never had a chance to make it come to fruition because we had
right.
both sides. We talked about it quite a few times, and that was something I was really looking forward to doing.
It would have been great, man.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
No, Gino was a genius on shit too.
But you guys did do Christmas in the D.
Yep. The cult shit Christmas.
Yep. Which I heard as soon as that came out because I always
Yep.
download those as soon as they come out. So I was
Yeah, as soon as D hit us up about that show, he's like, "Hey, you guys want to come out?" It's like, "Oh yeah, we'll be out there."
That was another track we had fun with because there was like, I want to say there was like fucking 10 people over here when we recorded that one. It was
That
like,
was just me, you, and Brad on that, I believe, on Christmas in the D. But there was a bunch of people over
Yeah,
here when
we had, like,
recorded it.
we had like a little party of people over here. We were all just hanging out, having a good time, writing a track. Well, 3 of us were writing a track while everybody else was hanging out.
It'd be
But-
crazy. We'd have all kinds of parties over here, and then after a while, the door in the studio would just close. Somebody'd be in there working on something. Like, BK was notorious for that shit. Like, he'd come over to the studio and like just close the door. You'd go in there, and he's like, "I got like 6 new beats made." Like, all right, bet.
So, Murder Mob Ready to Ride, not to backtrack the conversation, but that's how a lot of that album was made. We were just having parties over here.
Yep.
And literally in the middle of the party, we break off one by one in the studio.
This person,
and drop a
and this
verse.
person would go to the studio that day. Like later on, like, you know, we'd be partying, like drinking, getting all fucked up, and just having fun.
Yeah, fucking.
Like-
I remember when we did the track "The Moment," I believe it was on there.
Yeah, with Amy and
Uh,
everybody.
we had everybody that was on the track was here, and then we had probably 10 or 15 other people in the basement just hanging out, partying, drinking and shit. I had my acoustic guitar out, and BK was in here working on the beat on the studio computer, and I was playing the guitar out there, and we ended up recording my guitar, recording what he had, and then everybody sat down in the studio
Right.
or out in the fucking right outside the door to the studio. We all sat and wrote verses.
They'd come out there. I'd be doing dabs or something. They'd
Yeah.
like set us up some tracks and shit. We got something to work on. Like,
Yeah,
all right,
and
bet.
then before we knew it, we had a track done by
Yeah.
the end of the night. We were all fucked up.
That's awesome.
And that album, I had a lot of fun recording.
So how's Murder House evolved over the years?
I mean, at one point in time, I mean, we had there was like 13 artists on the label. But over the years, I just feel like we've kind of just branched out into more and more different like areas and stuff like that. Just, I don't know, like,
Me, I feel like honestly we've gotten older.
Right.
So we've kind of
matured along with the game. Like,
we've got families and shit, so we're not out hustling anymore. So a lot of the noise that we had isn't as loud anymore. We're just having fun.
Right.
Basically, still experimenting, but basically instead of hustling and trying to grind for it. We're just having a good time with it, having fun, wanting everybody to hear it. That's all, man. We're not trying to make $1 million. We just want people to hear it. We want people to connect with it, you know? That's all. I think that's kind of where our focus is shifted
Right.
as we've gotten older. You know, like I said, he just had a kid. It's about to be
He's about to be 2 next
2 years old.
Yeah.
A couple weeks here. It's crazy. Like I said, my son is actually born. Well, he's about to be 12, but he was born a week before his son.
Right.
So in a week here, you know, my son's going to be 12. I got a 13-year-old too. Like, you know, I'm just trying to be dad right now and
Yep.
work on music when I can, work and support the family. He's doing the same pretty much.
Nice.
But, you know, we're still focused on the music.
Right. Still doing,
It's
still
not
out
like-
doing shows.
It's not in the back of our mind. I go home every day after work and play guitar for everybody. I make impromptu songs. Even
Right.
I'll text him a video, or I'll just text him and say, "Hey, oh my God, I got this pattern I just came up with. We got to drop this." You know,
Right.
like,
That's
so,
awesome.
You know, it's still at the forefront of our.
Or like I'll hit
thoughts.
them up. Like Dropbox is a wonderful thing. Like I'll just load a bunch of beats that I make like into Dropbox, send them over to him. I was like, which ones do you want to keep and which ones can I sell? Like he'll send me back like, all right, we're keeping this one. And there's sometimes beats that like I thought like when I made it like I don't think we'd fit on this, you know. And like he'd be like, no, we're keeping this one. This is us all the way. And we'll drop a track and it'll be like one of my favorite tracks that we've like done to date. Like
Do you?
Once you get the right perspective,
Where's your
Right.
beat page?
Right beat.
something completely different than I pictured in my head originally, like comes out of that track.
Do you have like a beat page where people can purchase your beats?
I did back in the day, but now it's pretty much like just
Get a hold of them.
I stick to producing like to a lot of like the homies and stuff like that, like people that I know that are working on music, or like there's a few like local groups around here that I was producing for a little bit. Like just kind of like I stick to like a lot of our own production. Then I got a lot of beats that are sitting on there that aren't finished and stuff like that. But
I always tell people when they ask, just send them a message. I mean, the worst you can do is
like if I got time, if somebody hits me up and like I got the time, like I'll work on some like production, like custom for them. But I try to just stick to like, all right, like I like this beat, like I think we can write something to this. Just try to get like our album done. But we've been working with. I got a few beats from Bad Mind for the next one. Like his production's crazy. Like I've always liked rapping on his shit.
oh yeah, one of my favorites.
Oh yeah.
But
He's very popular now. Like a lot of people.
yeah,
He's like everyone's
He's
go-to.
produced for a lot of names in the underground.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's crazy. Like his catalog of people he's produced
It's
for.
also crazy how different it all sounds. Like he can
Yep.
go for so many different sounds where
Oh,
it's
for
getting to the
sure.
point where you can't even tell if it's a Bad Mind beat anymore because he can cover so many different bases.
Right.
Right now, I'd say Marshland Monster and Crossworm.
His production's always been crazy too. Like he did a remix for us one time of one of our original
Basement.
Evil and Princeton's tracks, and he schooled that shit. Like
Yeah.
I've always been a fan of his production because his production, like Fritz is like it's
That
like
was
a
all-
big production.
That's
Like
all alone, right?
Get
It all alone, right?
I can't remember which track it was. That or Murder House. It was one of the tracks off Evil Intentions. I can't think of the name of the one that he did the remix for.
The
off of it.
Basement.
Yes, it was The Basement.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
It was The Basement. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Yep.
That
Because
one
I
came
had
out
sent him a
fucking
few
dope,
sessions
though.
and I let him pick which one he wanted to do. Because we had went through some of his shit that he had, and like he had CDs with all the old sessions from like the Evil Intentions album, and I was able to load them up on the studio computer and like transfer them to files that Skeeter could open. And yeah, he schooled that shit.
Hell yeah. I was
He
talking
sent me
to
it back. He's like, "What do you think of this one?" I'm like, hell yeah.
Concrete today, and
Yep.
he was wondering, like, if you guys gonna do a track with him sometime?
We did. We actually did a
'Cause, yeah,
track
he
back
told
in the
me-
day, and the files got lost for it. It was after a show. He was staying at my apartment.
Wasn't it him and Circus on it with us?
Yeah, it was him and our boy Circus.
Mhm.
It was Play a Game, I think was the name of the track. It had a sample from Saw in the beginning,
Oh, that'd
and
be
Concrete
cool.
did the hook. He's like, "Come on."
Yeah.
I can't remember how the hook went exactly, but yeah, he schooled that shit. He had a
That
verse
was
on
one
it.
of my favorite tracks when we dropped it.
The only
too.
one that didn't drop on it yet was me, and the files had got lost for the track. Like something happened to the hard drive.
I have a copy. That
He's got like a rough
somewhere,
mixed
but
copy of the
It
song.
sounds so shitty.
Right, because there was no mix done
release
on
it
it.
if we can get like a good EQ on it or something.
I say it's time for a redo.
Hell yeah, no. Concrete's been killing shit too. I've been seeing him doing a lot of stuff.
Dude,
Him and Bloodshot lately. Like,
yeah, Horror Crunk, man. They're
they're doing.
Speaking of
they're
Shane,
doing big shit. Like,
yeah, Il Nickel.
Shane's linked up with a good team right now. Like,
in 2007, when we went out to Gorefest for the first time, we pretty much hung out with Bloodshot,
Concrete and stuff like that. Like when Stitches was with us, Icarus,
Dark Half, and then
yep.
Concrete and Bloodshot. That was like our group.
That
right
was
there.
the year I think Dark Half got signed to LSP at that show at Gorefest. I believe it was.
Yep.
That sounds like fun times, good memories, you know, like, and also like total wicked shit history. Those are
Right.
all legendary names now, including you guys.
I remember. I think it was Bloodshot and Concrete came down to our hotel room in the middle of the night with a pizza box, and inside of this pizza box was like ripped up Bible pages, and they started knocking on our hotel room door, and Stitches answered the door, and they just threw the fucking Bible pages at him and like left. Like, it was like, oh damn. Like, and then I think they came back later, got all the Bible pages and burned them on the side of the road in the pizza box.
They tried to get Jeff to go over to do that, but he was passed out at that point.
Drinking too much Caribou with Damien and Gino.
He was on the side of the bed facing the window with a fucking trash can between him and the wall, puking into it. When they came back to the door, like, hey, we're going to go burn this Bible by the freeway. Like, no, he's puking
He's over the side of the bed like,
oh, Jeff, you want to go burn this Bible? Dude, no, he's puking.
Right.
I love that their priorities is like at a hotel with a bunch of friends and stuff. They're like, let's burn some Bibles.
They went and burnt the Bible too.
Yep.
Oh, I've seen the videos of them lighting Bibles on fire in hotel rooms and shit. It's funny as hell.
Yeah, this was in like a pizza box on the side of the road or some shit.
Yeah, I never saw a pizza
Sure,
box.
Concrete remembers that shit.
Yeah, I would love to see you guys collaborate because I think the spirit that you guys have, and that, like, you guys would both
I've always had
old school horror.
Mad respect for him.
Concrete brings a great energy to a track too, man. Like,
oh yeah,
there's a lot of tracks that people think like everyone thinks you got to have like a good delivery and sound and all that, but sometimes like a fucking energy brings everything. Not saying Concrete.
He's got that deep ass singing.
Shit, like, I'm saying like he's got such a good energy.
Well, he's got natural energy. Like it's a natural studio voice.
He's charisma, that natural
he was like,
charisma.
I'd say he was born a voice actor.
He was doing like some film acting or something for a minute too, wasn't he?
Yeah. He was in film school and he almost completed a film, which there will be clips of that film in the music video we're working on that should be out in October.
That's dope.
Yeah, hopefully I don't know. We got some ideas coming up. He lives close to me.
Right.
And, like, I've been waiting to collaborate with a horrorcore artist for a while.
I see him always posting new shit he's working on. Like,
yeah.
You can tell he's working hard.
Yeah, he is, for sure.
Cool.
Anybody else that you guys are thinking of collabing with in the future?
We're down to collab with almost
like, I mean, we've gotten hit up by a lot of people, and like, you know, like Michigan Misfits hit us up like, hey,
that'd be sick.
You guys be down to drop a track with us? And it was like, hell yeah, just send it over. You know what I'm saying? Like,
one big problem, Will, with me is I live like a half hour away from him, and I work like 50 hours a week. So it's kind of hard getting over here, especially trying to spend time with my kids and stuff. So a lot of it's on me that we haven't been getting a lot done, and I've been trying to change that now because I actually got a new position where I get out earlier.
Right.
So I'm going to start trying to head over here after work and see if I can accomplish something musically before I head home. But you know, we're down to, like I said, we're down to collab with almost anybody, man. It's fun working with other people. A lot of times we'll get something. Not a lot of times. I'm sorry. Sometimes we'll get something from somebody that we agree to collab with, and it doesn't sound good. And we're like, oh man, you know, what are we gonna do with this? But then we come on it and just, I don't know, completely.
Any collab we've done with somebody, we've tried to give them like 110%.
More than they bargained for.
Yeah. I've listened to a lot of your collabs that are out there, like with some artists that I've never heard of before, and you've definitely brightened up the track and brought a lot of energy to something that could have been.
And a lot of times, you know, it's like there's shit like where it's like right into a concept that is something we would have never thought to even write to, and it's like, all right, bet, like, you know, it kind of makes us get creative in a different,
Right.
like a whole nother aspect.
It's like, you guys got to be killer clowns now. What are you gonna do?
Right.
That's not too far off from what we're doing.
Right.
Just paint my face, I guess.
Right.
You know?
Have you guys ever thought of like doing a concept album where like you guys found like like remember Alias Grim with KGP and Bloodshot, or like there was Stage Fright with Stitches and Icarus?
Yeah.
Have you guys ever thought about
Great album, too.
doing something like that?
We've tossed it around a few times. It's just getting the time to actually lay something down that
Right.
sophisticated, pretty much.
Like a lot of times we'll just like, get together and like start on a track, and it's like, all right, this will be the first one for the album. And then it's like we try to build around that, and like we might drop a whole nother track like on something completely different. It's like, all right, I don't know if this one really fits on the album, but then we'll try to build around it, make everything fit like seamlessly.
Nice. I think the big question that I've been wanting to ask this whole time is, what's next?
Well, we do have another album started. I believe we're about 7 or 8 tracks deep on it right now.
Cool.
Right, and it's pretty much, we got a couple of beats left to write to, but like I want to gather more production for it, but I just got to hear like them right beats. Like we want to make this one perfect. Like,
cool. Are there any concepts or tidbits you'd like to throw out there that could like kind of get us excited about it?
I wish I had like a release date or something, but no, like I mean,
There's more. I mean, I'll just tell you, in generally, like we're experimenting more again.
yeah,
Cool.
it's definitely not like, I don't know, it's not a concept album, but we're like experimenting more with like trying to make each track way more different than the one before it. Like,
and we're branching out style, not throughout the whole album, but on some tracks. Like
right.
the one track that we're doing at the show at Carl's Tavern in a week or two here.
Lunatic.
That's called I'm a Lunatic, or Lunatic. We actually don't have a tentative name, I guess, a firm name put down, I guess.
Is it spelled lunatic like on the album?
LOONIT or CIK or whatever.
Yeah.
Figure why change it now, right? Stick to a theme.
I ain't no spelling bee champion or anything.
But that whole song has like an old school hip hop feel.
Right. It's that old like boom bappy beat, like, but as soon as I heard the beat, it was like, damn, we could definitely fuck with that.
There was some of that on
That's how
Lyrical
bad my
Bloodbath
beat,
too, right? Like
was that?
Lyrical Bloodbath, you guys kind of did that too. You rapped over some boom bap style stuff.
Yeah.
And
That was a fun mixtape recording. That's like one of my favorite mixtapes, like we've all done as a label.
it was interesting. I think that's definitely like Troubled Minds, like normal stuff is great for like sitting in your basement, slitting your wrists.
Right.
But like that's like some like that makes me want to fucking drive around town, fucking smoke some cigarettes. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
it's like some like
That's what I liked about the Murder Mob album, the Ready to Ride one. 'Cause
that
we had
too. Same energy.
couple pot smoking tracks on there. That was like, oh man, I'm gonna go for a cruise.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And usually I'm not too down with like, I just like the murder tracks. Like usually I skip weed and sex tracks, like when it comes to
Right.
the wicked shit. But like, yeah, you guys sprinkled in just right, for sure.
You know, I'm with you on that too, because a lot of weed tracks I'll skip, but there's some of them I'll get down with. But like,
That's
sex
smoked out. We
tracks.
did.
there's a lot of
Sticker
sex
Stash
tracks
one.
that I don't really get down with too. You know, you'll notice I don't think we have a sex track. We have a track where we mention fucking somebody or something, but not a sex track.
We got some
you know?
necrophilia tracks.
Oh, I can take that back. I got a necrophilia track.
That's a whole new ballpark. I'll accept that one.
Right, because
Yeah.
that's still in the horror genre.
I
So
just-
we haven't really, like, I guess, found a way to do a sex track that to
I remember
us.
the CD you did for
Is it
everybody in the
like,
crew for Christmas
Yeah,
with the copy of necrophilia over a completely different beat.
but yeah, I don't. We haven't really found a way to do a sex track that like fits, that isn't cringy, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of tough to like ride that line because technically a sex track is listening to a grown ass man talk about banging a chick in your ear. Like,
Right.
why would you want
It's
that?
like one thing though, on the new God Hates Us shit that they have recorded, they got a track on there called Rotten, that's on some shit. But like the way they did it, they killed it.
Yeah, he told me
It's
it's
gonna
like
be coming out soon. That's dope.
it's like a fucked up sex track kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited to hear that one too. So are you thinking maybe like 2024? Maybe you need like another year and a half, or like maybe 2023.
I'm hoping 2023.
Yeah, I'm thinking 2023 should be sufficient enough time. I just need to get off
But,
my
like-
lazy ass and get over here.
And then a lot of it too is we recorded a lot of it, and then like
We
the
really-
world shut down.
Yeah,
and then I had
we
a kid,
recorded a
and,
good
like,
chunk, and then everything kind of fucking shut down. I could come over here for like 3 months, I think, or 2 months or something like that.
Right.
And then,
But I was still sending them beats all the time. Like,
yeah, we would get like sporadic tracks done here and there. After that, you know, I think we only got like 3 tracks done. And besides collabs, we got
Right.
3 tracks done for the album in the last like year. Because just it's it's starting to get back to normal, but it's getting too hectic to.
right.
Life is getting too hectic, you know.
Because for a while he was working like midnights or whatever. Where
and he's been working mornings for fucking a decade.
Yeah.
I'm in at like 5:30 in the morning every day. Like,
So yeah, like every time I would get out of work, he'd be going to bed. So there's like no time for us to actually meet up and record.
Hey,
But now I got time.
as someone that's like working class myself, I respect artists like you
right.
100 times more than
Yeah,
the
we still
rapper
gotta
that
pay
sits
bills,
at home
too.
all day on the fucking social media
Right.
waiting for stuff to come their way. So like
Oh, for
big
sure.
ups to you guys for working, taking care of your families.
Yep.
That's very important, and it really just shows that you guys are real people. So
Yeah, because you got a little one yourself too, so you know what it's like.
yep, exactly.
Yeah.
I want some fucking Murder House merch. I want some Troubled Minds merch.
Me too.
No, you guys got it right now, and I want that shit. I want that sweatshirt. I want that t-shirt.
Oh, these I don't think we have any more of, but we do need to start printing some more merch here soon.
If anything, man, if anything, just make.
Print merch.
Yes.
If
That,
anything,
that design right there though, 8 Legs did that shit. and,
that's
like, he stole it.
fresh.
I told him I was like, I got an idea for a logo. This is years ago. I was like, I kind of want like the Death Row logo, but I want the dude like taped down to a chair instead of the electric chair, and like, instead of the bag over his head, I want to do with his like throat slit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
and I'm explaining this all to our homies from Sticker Stash, because we did a track for them and they paid for the design for us. And, like, I'm explaining everything to him, and like he just relayed that to 8 Legs, and that's what he came up with, and he blew my mind with that shit.
Yeah.
I
wanted
fucking
that
want
shirt,
that shirt, man.
Right.
Yo, you guys should just reprint everything on what is it, Store Frontier? Like that's what a lot of people do now.
I've always been like I want to order something from there. I'm about to order one of Shane's hoodies and shirts and stuff like that here soon,
High
just because I
quality?
want to see how the quality is. Like,
It is.
I've always been that like kind of merch snob where like I want like quality shit, so I would want people wearing like stuff of mine that's good quality and not gonna fade and like
Yeah.
crack after like 1 or 2 washes.
Yeah,
So I want to order something from there and just check out the quality before I like
I was
do a lot of
pretty.
stuff. But I see a lot of people using it.
I was pretty surprised with the quality.
Really?
Yeah, I've gotten
That's good to
I've
hear.
gotten worse shit from Gildan, which is a good company.
Right.
So I was
Right.
pretty surprised. So yeah, I would love some merch, man.
Yeah,
Jerseys,
That's one thing I've been thinking of. Like,
jerseys, man. Murder House or a Troubled Minds jersey would be sick.
we've actually just recently been talking about this. We found a few places. We're just pretty much trying to finalize design and get like a list of people together to order one.
Yeah,
But we're gonna do like a smaller batch first, pretty much to check the quality and everything like that, and just kind of have our own personal jerseys, and then we're gonna order a bunch of them if the quality is really good.
yeah, man. Just the thing is, a shirt game, like everyone has T-shirts, so it's like
Right.
anytime you can do like a jersey, a sweatpant, a bandana,
Right, so you got to try to
poster.
think outside the box and do
Shot
something
glass,
different
weed
than
tray.
everybody else.
Hell yeah. Well, I'm excited to see that. Right now, you guys have the Murder House COVID mask, which is like,
Right, yeah, we've actually sold a lot of those. Like,
I might have to pick one of those up sometime soon. Like when I put in my first
I
order.
think
with you
right
guys.
now they might be sold out.
Okay.
I'd have to check though.
In that case, you have no threads to sell at the moment. So
Right. Right now, we just got the CDs up on the web store because we need to re-up on shirts and stuff like that. But like, I want to come up with a couple like new designs and stuff like that too. I just got to find the right people to draw them up because I can't draw for shit. It would be like stick figures with
Yeah.
like
I'm the same way, man. I need to learn.
a little pixelated knife.
All right, man. Well, that comes to the end of the show. Thank you guys so much for coming on. Do you have any
For
shout
sure,
outs,
man.
plugs, or anything like that?
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, I appreciate you
Um,
thinking of us to have us on the show, man.
Oh, it was
For sure, man. And check out Trouble Minds on Facebook, Spotify, iTunes, all that. You know, check it out, stream our shit.
Look
If you
up
like
Murder
it.
House Records and look at
Yep.
everything that falls under that umbrella. 'Cause there's a fucking ton
We
that
got,
falls under the Murder House catalog.
MurderHouseRecords.bigcartel.com. We got the all the CDs and everything up.
yeah.
So check
Hell
it
yeah,
out.
guys.
Hit us up. Let us know what you think. If you think we suck, let us know we suck.
I don't know if that's gonna
Hey,
happen.
fuck it. I'm
Right.
old. I'll take the
Our
criticism.
music ain't for everybody,
Yeah.
but we
Yeah.
enjoy doing it.
All I
For
know
sure.
is my kids don't think I suck.
Right.
Love you, Kenny. Love you, Damien. Mwah.
Oh yeah. Shout out to the kids.
Hell yeah.
Troubled
My
Minds
kids-
is for the children. Maybe not. Maybe not all the children.
Right.
Anyway, thank you
Hell yeah,
guys
man.
so
Thank you
fucking
again
much.
too for having us on here.
Yep. Fucking rep horrorcore to the death. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Yep. Hope to do another one here one of these days.
We'll do.
Maybe we'll do a listening party for the album when we drop it.
Oh, I hope so.
So,
It's fun.
tell Concrete to hit me up. Let's work on something.
Yeah, let's
Do
make
it,
happen.
Concrete. Ja!
Yeah. Hell yeah. That's
That was him. That wasn't me.
hell yeah. No shit. Tell him hit us up. I definitely want to do some work.
We'll do. All right.
You made that happen right here.
Yep.
I hope to see it happen, man. If that would just be like one of those collabs that
Right.
needs to happen in the future.
Hell yeah.
Ever since we did that one back in the day that never got released,
Yeah,
I've
when
been
we-
thinking about it for
When we
years.
were going
years,
through
years.
this finding files for the Sense 99 album, he had a copy of just a rough ass like terrible mix.
I was bagging it.
With
Let's
everybody.
use it. This
And I'm
track's
like,
so
man,
dope.
like, and I'm like picky as hell, like with mixes. I was
I
like,
said,
can't
it's got
do it. Like,
fucking concrete on it, bro. Circus, let's fucking use this.
the quality was just so bad because like there was absolutely no mix on it. Like, I wish I still had all them files because that track would have been dope.
It'd probably be faster just to re-record it than to like recover that. You know?
Right. I'd have to find that beat or make a new one.
Yeah. All right, guys. You gotta have a good night.
Hell yeah, man. You too. Thank you again.
Cool.
Yep.
Peace.
This could be the day that you die. I smell your blood, sweat, and fear. I'm keeping you locked up inside. I see your blood, sweat, and fear. Don't bother praying for your life. I smell your blood, sweat, and fear. 'Cause ain't no saving you tonight. I see your blood, sweat, and fear. Another day, another victim of mine. Another way to let loose. Another way to unwind.
Every day the same thing, we dragging bitches through the back streets. Bring a rolling disposable plastic for the back seats. Don't wanna leave no trace of blood or no DNA. I put the shovel in the trunk and I toss the keys to Winky K.
I hear her in the back, she must have woke up. I hear her kicking and screaming, but that won't bring you no love. Oh no, I slam the brakes, hear a thud, lights out, no doubt. I hit the gas and make our way back to the house.
Next breath could be your last, so don't beg for your life. I drag you out of the car and keep up into the night. I got you all tied up with a gauge in your mouth. And I swear to God, if you scream, I'm blowing your fucking brains out.
Grab the shovel and I'm hearing her cry. How's it feel to know today will be the day that you die? This could be the day that you die. I smell your blood, sweat, and fear. I'm keeping you locked up inside. I see your blood, sweat, and fear. Don't bother praying for your life. I smell your blood, sweat, and fear. 'Cause ain't no saving you tonight. I see your blood, sweat,
We
and
headed back to
fear.
the house. The police, they must have heard the shots. I hear the sirens coming closer. We about to kill a cop. I'm ducked down in the trees. The knife clench in my fist. As soon as he walks past me, that's when I move swift.
I head on out the other side to cause a distraction. He goes for his weapon, but Doctor jumps into action and
Put the blade to his neck as I knock him to the dirt. Stab him 7 times and laugh at his body bleeding out as the blood squirts.
let me go and get my dude up off of his cop. Stabbing him over and over, he just won't stop. Let's go, we gotta dig a hole, bury this cop, and go get rid of his car on the down low.
Fuck that, I grabbed a can of gas, I hope you got the flame. This thing's about to roast, ain't got no time for games. I put him in the car, cover it with gasoline. You like the match, you toss it, and hope that no one's seen.
This could be the day that you die. I smell your blood, sweat, and fear. I'm keeping you locked up inside. I see your blood, sweat, and fear. Don't bother praying for your life. I smell your blood, sweat, and fear. 'Cause ain't no saving you tonight. I see your blood, sweat, and fear. This could be the day that you die. I smell your blood, sweat, and fear. I'm keeping you locked up inside. I see your blood, sweat, and fear. Don't bother praying for your life. I smell your blood, sweat, and fear. 'Cause ain't no saving you tonight. I see your blood, sweat, and fear. This could be the day that you die. I smell your blood,
I made this one right here. My name is good though. There's two of me now.
Oh, you're just super scary, bro.
Right. That was after my keto.
That's fucking dope. I love Wicked K's beard on him.
Hell yeah.
He's got the cone beard. That's dope, man. Those are like your prized possessions, I bet.
They were just little fun projects to do and shit. Like everybody always said with the bald head and shit. Like I called me the Big Show and shit, joking around. So I was like,
Can you
Fuck
see
it.
it? Can you see the back?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's clear.
he did
did.
like the jerseys and shit.
Yeah. That's sick. It's a little glare on the letters. Is that 99?
Right.
Oh, 99 when you started.
Yeah.
That's
Because
fucking-
back in the day, we used to have the football jerseys we got with like Trouble Minds across the
I
front.
almost
99 on
wore
the
that motherfucker. I almost wore that today, dude. I pulled it out. I was like,
Hell yeah.
I
Did
still
you ever
need to
sell
get one.
those, or is that just for you guys? That's personal collection. Is that personal collection, or did you ever sell those?
Yeah, this is just shit. Like, he's got a shitload of, like, we both, like, one big thing is collecting, like, wrestling figures.
Mhm.
Like, my whole basement's just wrestling figures and Funko Pops. Like, it's crazy. Like, and, you know, he has a lot of shit, but he opens his. Like, it's a crazy thing to do. But, yeah, he just, and he made these right here so he can actually do, like, matches and shit with them and stuff like that. Just, he's got, like, a ring set up in his room. It's dope as fuck.
That's
Every time I go over there, I'm like, man, that's what the figure looks like out of the box. Like,
That's sick.
because all mine are like in boxes, except for like my old Hasbro's and shit, like the '90s wrestling figures.
One thing I think is cool. You guys know who Don Orius is?
Yeah, I know who he is.
Yeah, I think he's keeping it really under wraps, but I think he's making a fighting game that's supposed to be kind of like backyard wrestling, but it's going to have
Hell yeah!
all the
I know-
new
I
horror
wonder if that's
cores.
the one that Shane was talking about. 'cause I
Yeah,
think-
that's him.
all right.
So yeah, he showed me some of the models for some of the faces. Pretty good shit so far.
That's dope.
I think it's gonna like
Tell
kind
him we
of.
need a Trouble Minds like downloadable characters.
I was gonna say you guys could be
That'd
like
be dope.
a tag team, like
Right.
tag team.
That's
boss.
any like wrestling game that comes out. He always makes like Trouble Minds on video games and shit. He usually puts like all like the stuff up for so people can download it too. Like
yeah, if you
All
go
logos and
on WWE 2K22 and just go to search and type in MHR for Murder House Records, it'll bring up all the logos and shit that I uploaded and used. I haven't uploaded our characters yet, but I have both of us made already and everything.
right.
That's
He gets
awesome.
creative as fuck with it too. Sitting there for hours when the game comes out. It'll be like weeks before he actually plays a match. He'll be like, I
Months.
finally got us down. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Man, I got the same mind as you guys.
Some of the older ones you can come out to like our music. So it'd be like what Dark Side or Bloodbath or something.
Dark Side.
Yeah.
That's sick. I always customize like in the wrestling games and shit. Try to make people and stuff. It's awesome.
There's no fun playing as the other characters.
Yeah,
Right.
the default.
Yeah, he gets crazy with it too, and like he comes up with some dope ass shit. He made Demonic from back in like the backyard wrestling days from when we were younger.
With the hockey mask and shit.
No, it was even before that. That was like Evil Intentions, really, with the hockey mask, like early.
Yeah, we used to backyard wrestle before we started rapping.
Yeah, even before the music, they all backyard wrestled and shit.
Yeah, he had a character, the Misfit
Yeah.
was the name of his character. And
He used to wear like a ripped up white shirt that said like chicks dig scars.
He had like a white T-shirt with like the sleeves cut up to be tassels. It said on the back, it said "Chicks dig scars," and so I fucking recreated that in the wrestling game.
Right.
Oh, that's awesome. Hell yeah.
Didn't you make a figure of that too? Or
Yeah, I actually did make a figure of that, and I got it at home. I almost brought it too. I almost grabbed it.
That's so
That's
cool. Man.
Yeah. He's the one that kind of got me into like when he made like the little custom ones right here. I was like, you want to know what? Like, I'm gonna try to make my own. That's when I started on this little one. And then there was this dude on Instagram that was posting that he can make the shirts and stuff for him. So I hit him up and got some Murder House ones made. So that kind of motivated me to go find the other pieces to put it together.
Imagine like a stop motion animation music video with those guys. That'd be cool. Like
That'd be kind of dope.
Robot Chicken style.
Coming out as like tag team champs.
I was taking I would use my girlfriend's camera and take pictures of like scenarios and shit. Like I get them in the middle of.
They'd be doing moves and shit. Like you'd have pictures of it.
I try and get like different stages of doing the move, you know, and fucking different shit like that. But I kind of got out of it. I want to get back into it though, 'cause it's fun. I had fun fucking posing them around and shit.
You could probably make like fucking TikTok or Instagram just based off that, and people would be like, "Whoa!"
Shit, there's a guy.
TikTok's famous.
I want to say like 2 or 3 different guys that I follow on Twitter that basically do the same thing, but they got signed by like Mattel and AEW and
To
WWE
do their pictures and stuff like that.
Official pictures of their figures and stuff.
So they'll get like all the figures before they come out and shit. Just
Yeah, they're getting
pose them
free
with
figures
photos.
just to do the goddamn pictures.
Wow, that's a good hustle.
It really is, man.
No, yeah, buying action figures gets expensive as fuck.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, I
I
bet.
gotta like buy enough to sell online to pay for my habit.
I'm so glad I sold off my horror movie collection. Like, I don't regret it, but
Man, the horror movie NECA figures that they got out, that shit, like that's one line I'm trying not to get into because that will get expensive because they have so many dope ones for the horror
I've already
movies.
got like fucking 7.
I only bought one because I'm working on a custom Nick Gage figure and I needed the bloody light tube that came with it. So I bought the Halloween Kills one just for the bloody light tube. But now I'm like, the figure's kind of dope. I gotta display it.
yeah. Shit, I forgot what I was to say. I was kind of stoned right now.
Right, I feel you. I feel you.
I know how that goes.
I'm so high. He's got like a little box that he carries his figures around in, so they're safe.
That's smart.
Right. No, they're dope. It definitely